welcome everybody to Fat Guys on a Little Podcast. I am your co-host, Steve Markey, and always joined by
Charles here.
We're running solo. I guess not solo if there's two of us, but no guests this week. Hopefully Mr. Maxwell knows his schedule next week, or maybe my friend Eric. We'll get them on eventually, but as of today, no guests.
Kicking it old school.
Old school, just the Markey brothers sitting around being fat
the
and
only
stupid.
people you truly want.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a whole lineup for you today, but before I go into that, I'm gonna go a little off script here.
Oh shit!
Oh, here we go, off script.
We're gonna fumble our way through this.
It'll be a quick one. I just want to get people's. No one's listening yet, anyways. But when they are, people's opinions on something. Today, Michelle was gone. She was with her friends, so it was daddy-daughter day pretty much all day. Now, one thing we did in November 2020, in the future, my lease is up.
In the year 2000.
Yes, my lease is up. I have a Ford Escape, and it's okay. It's a car. It gets me point A to point B, whatever. It was cheap. But anyways, so we and Holly after we
got rid of your
Holly
F-150.
I cry every night when I don't have the best car I ever owned. Oh, but God, it was the most expensive. So we went today to the dealerships. They were closed. We just want to look at the cars.
Smurf around.
And we were looking at the Ford dealer to see if the Ranger was out.
Was that Ranger in the front?
No, it's not. No,
that was an F-150.
That was an F-150.
Huh.
Let me tell you the percentages of the Ford dealership. 70% is F-150s. 20% is Escapes. And then, what is that? That's up to 90. The other 10%,
Connects or
some Explorers and some Flexes.
What about those Transits?
And some Mustangs. There was two and they were used.
Oh, okay.
But let me tell you. So we're looking at them. We went to the dealer, and we also went to the Dodge dealer as well and looked at those. Now, next year in 2020, I'm going to buy. I'm done leasing. My budget's about $25,000 or less. Or stress the or less part. It could
so
be,
what you're looking at, like a 400 and change payment.
Yeah,
you're trying to be.
So $25,000 or less. It could be used. I'm not above that. A couple years old or whatever.
Are you putting this out there for the world to tell?
Yeah,
you?
well, I want to see what people suggest. That's why I'm
is that
putting
what
out.
you're talking about?
Yeah, and right now I've got it narrowed down to a car and a truck. Obviously, the Ranger is in play, but I don't know if there'll be any used ones.
There's no way it's
going
to be $25K. There's no way.
I don't know. They're brand new at 29.
Dude, with what? Dude.
I don't know. No. I'd say a used Ranger, if I can get lucky.
It'll be the same price as a Tacoma in the Colorado.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you why it won't go down anyways here in a minute. But now the Chrysler 300, which I like.
That one you showed me yesterday was really sharp.
They had a couple on the lot today, used, couple years
sharp
old.
Looking cars like the
one was all white, one was gunmetal gray.
The gunmetal ones look nice.
Yeah,
the pewter colors.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, and they're leather on the inside. They're nice cars.
What's the sticker?
It was a little high in miles. It was like 42,000. I would look for a little less miles. It was 18,000. Yeah, and then there was another one that had less miles. It was a 2017. It was about 21, so they're in my budget.
Yeah,
that
one you showed me was nice.
Yeah, and then there was a Ram sitting there, a beautiful Ram in the blue with the four doors and everything. That was sitting there at 23,000 with about 27,000 miles on it. Yeah. So that's not a bad deal. So I was like, the Rams might be in my budget. So then we're looking at those. I'm feeling encouraged. Now let me get Holly for some reason is in love with the old school looking Jeeps. The kind where you take the side doors off and
but
stuff.
You can't afford those. Those are super expensive.
40 grand.
Dude, you're crazy.
It was 40.
A true Wrangler is expensive.
Holly wants a car the size of your house. She's like pointing out Escalades. I go, look at that sticker. And then she comes walking back. Never mind. But then we went over to the Fords, and now the same kind of truck, F-150, 2016, 20,000 miles. I told you it was 23 to 25,000 in Dodge. How much is that F-150? You have a guess?
I'm going to guess that's a comparable mileage and stuff like that?
Yeah, everything was about the same.
I'm going to say it's probably 35.
You're right on the head. It was 35,000 for the same kind of truck. Crazy.
And the same thing would have happened if you went and looked at Silverados and stuff like that at the Chevy dealer, too.
They're expensive also?
Yeah, same thing. Remember when you got your F-150? It's ridiculous.
I don't know what's up with the Ram. Why are they cheap? Not that I'm bitching, because I'll try to get one.
Remember the chick at the Chevy dealer told us they haven't iterated on it in a long time, is what she's saying. It's like a tired model, is what she... I don't know much about that. My boss had a Ram. It was a really nice truck.
Randy had the one. It's a nice truck.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure everyone's listening to this going, man, the trans are terrible.
Yeah, there's something that we're missing somewhere.
Bob's at home shaking his fist.
Well, Bob lives and breathes and dies Ford no matter what. But, yeah, so there you go. A little look. So anyone on Facebook, if you know of a roomy vehicle.
$25K. Where you
25K or less. And remember, it's a big fat guy, so I need room. And I would
no Honda Civics.
And I do go to Notre Dame every once in a while, so some backseat space for Charles to sit in for 2 hours. So a little bit of a back seat and some room in it, 25 or less. I'm up for anything. I'd like to know what people are driving and how much they're paying. No leases. I want to buy it. I'm done leasing. Yeah. So there's a little look, a little detour today we took at the dealerships. I always find it fun. Now, one thing they did have.
I thought that was a Ranger in the front of that Taylor Ford.
That was an F-150.
Didn't you say
they were closed unless they put the Ranger inside the building.
No, the one up front had to be a Ranger. That little car right in the front door.
It was a black F-150.
Yeah, that was an F-150?
Yeah.
Wow.
We just didn't see it right, I guess, when we were driving down the road. Because I asked Holly, I go, do you see him? But the one thing they did have, a 2014 Transit van there. That was only $13,000, man.
Yeah, probably no seats.
I don't have seats. Who cares? It had 2 seats in the front.
Are you going to run like an HVAC
Holly could just roll around in the back.
What?
$13,000. That was a deal, man. What are you, crazy?
It doesn't have seats.
There was no price on that limo they were selling.
Oh, really?
We looked. There was no price. So there you go. A little look at the dealerships. Because, in 2020, when my lease is up, I'll get to go sticker shock and screaming. You'll hear some screaming from Taylor, Michigan here.
Well, I mean, I've been avoiding it. So I test drove that 2016 Tacoma, but I want the off-road edition. I want the one that's got the bumper or the.
Now, folks, he never goes off-roading. Just so you know.
I want like a full. I want a Tonka truck. If I'm going to buy a truck, I want a Tonka. And that was stickered at just under 30, and the guy was talking like $500 a month, and I gave it back to him. I was like, here you go.
$500 a month.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I know. We found out the other day we only owe 56 on our house left.
Okay.
Holly looked at a car that was 63. I was like, that's more than where we're living right now. Yeah. She's like, well, maybe I get like a cot in the back or something. She kept picking out Expeditions and Escalades and Tahoes. I was like, are you out of your mind?
She's got a Honda Fit 09.
Yeah, I know. I go, you see those little Focuses in that corner over there that are used? That's what you're going to be driving. So there you go. A little look and a little reality check for Holly. So we're going to continue our escapades into the AAF.
Yes.
Football League.
It was another weekend, and I caught it on TNT. You caught it before you came over on what?
TNT. That's what station
TNT. It was a CBS Sports. Like
I watched.
They're playing them on all the CBS networks.
Third and fourth quarter of the game last night at about 9 o'clock.
That's probably what channel was that?
That was the NFL Network.
NFL Network is showing them.
Yeah. They showed one.
Telling you, they're in bed with them.
And then I was watching one before I left today on CBS Sports Network at 4 o'clock.
The game I watched was terrible.
There
was probably 1,000 people in the stands.
Yeah, there was a home game for Memphis I saw. Mike Singletary's the coach. Okay. I couldn't name any of the players.
I get you.
I forget who they were playing against.
Could you tell where they were playing at?
It was in Memphis. I know that much.
I know, but could you tell, are they like in a college stadium and stuff like that?
It looked like it's college stadium.
Yeah,
it looked like nobody was there.
Dude, that's how that Birmingham game was.
It seemed like it was a colder day in Memphis because everyone had jackets. You could see the breath. So I don't know.
That might have drove people away.
Yeah, maybe, but like when I watched the Houston game the first week, there was more people there than I expected. This week was what I expected for attendance.
Yeah, you're talking about the San Antonio game.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people there, and it was a decent crowd. That Birmingham game and now that Memphis game,
nobody.
No one. I mean, it's crickets. And then they're saying that Colin Kaepernick was offered like $20 million or some or he wanted $20 million to play for him and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
That hypocrite settled his whole NFL thing.
Yeah.
Some
for the people,
that,
but he got a check. They estimated $60 to $80 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But he signed a non-disclosure, so we can't talk about it.
But it's just he made it seem like it wasn't about the money.
It was always about the money.
But that's what's hilarious.
Crazy.
To me. Like,
that's a 4-year NFL contract, so that's $80 million for an average quarterback.
He doesn't have to play. He doesn't have to take the hits.
XFL should go after him. But anyways,
yeah.
So the one thing I don't know, I've only seen it on the NFL Network. They decided to do a new camera angle.
Okay.
It went diagonal. Like when the team's on
NES
offense.
play action?
Yeah, it drove me nuts. I hated it.
Diagonal.
Oh, it was so terrible.
Was it the eye in the sky cam? Was it the cable cam that they did it with? Or
okay, the regular angle, you see it straight up and down. Yeah, it's that regular camera, but
off to a side. It is NES play action.
Yeah,
dude.
it was terrible.
Wow.
Who thought? I know they're trying something new, and also the two commentators. One was Brian Billick, and the other one's the former coach of the Atlanta Falcons. I think they were both physically dead in the fucking in the thing. They were like, It was the most unexcited announcers you ever heard in your life.
Marvin Lewis was at the Birmingham game. So that's who was in the booth.
He's about to be a coach of them, isn't he? He got family from
I don't know. I don't.
He's gonna start. He'll probably start up a team.
I don't
Cincinnati.
know. So the big we talked about it after the last podcast. So they beat basketball on their opening night, which was a huge thing to beat the NBA on that opening night. The sustainability is looking sketchy on this.
Now, let's look at that at face value. Basketball's All-Star Weekend is this weekend. So all the games last week were turd sandwiches for the basketball. Most of the guys
I think
sat.
That was still a big deal. I really do. I think that.
Let's see if they beat them this weekend.
I think that's San
They're going to beat the
Antonio.
All-Star game.
What's that?
They're going to beat the All-Star game.
No, close. I mean, these stadiums were just empty. It was crickets. Folks.
Yeah, second week.
And then, quite frankly, the product was really bad. It was Salt Lake versus Birmingham. Trent Richardson's on the Birmingham team, the Birmingham Iron, and they give him the ball constantly, and he just has no line to block for him.
Oh.
He is running for his life on 4 down or 3 downs. It's crazy. It was not a good product this week, admittedly.
It ended up 20-18. The one I saw, it was Arizona versus Memphis, and Memphis had the lead. It was like 18-6 when I turned it on.
What's the Arizona team about? Who's on there?
Firefighters.
But who? You got any names in that?
Rick Neuheisel is their coach.
Okay, the old UCLA guy.
Yeah, that's all I know. Okay. I don't recognize anybody on either team there.
You had Dennis Erickson for Salt Lake, and like I said, Trent Richardson with Birmingham. I think the Birmingham thing stood a chance just based in Bama, but apparently you ain't Roll Tide. They don't care.
Yeah. So the attendance is dropping quickly. The product ain't all that hot. There's not a lot of excitement.
I still think, I think that the NFL could shore it up. I really do.
Yeah,
but
it's declining quite a bit. Now, the other fascinating news article for the other league that hasn't started yet, XFL again, and how they're going to do. They signed a head coach to the Dallas team, Bob Stoops of all people.
It's not a bad poll.
Yeah, that was
the 2 other names are pretty decent that you listed here too. So
but they're not coaches.
They're like a general manager, player development.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're kind of like what Heinz Ward is for the AAF.
John Fox and Jim Caldwell.
Jim Caldwell, yes, he's back into football, but apparently the XFL. No other coaches. There's 8 teams. No other teams declared their coach except because I looked at the website looking for it. Bob Stoops the only one. I don't know.
How does the website look? I haven't checked it out yet.
It's okay.
Are they giving you information on it, or is it like
not a lot?
Stay tuned for more kind of thing?
Maybe a paragraph here where the team's going to play, what the team uniforms look like, and that's about it.
What cities are they? Have they announced the cities? I mean,
yes,
like
they have.
style?
Unfortunately, I don't know them off the top of my head.
But
one is in Seattle. They're going to be playing at the Seahawks place.
Okay.
One's in Chicago. They're going to be playing at Soldier Field. Obviously, one in Dallas. There's another one in Houston. Houston or San Antonio. There's 2 in Texas.
Oh.
There's one in New York. And I couldn't tell you the other ones. L.A., I think, is the other one.
I think the one thing that Alliance is doing smartly is they're putting them in warmer states because you like you said the Memphis one already. You think the weather drove people away even more. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you could do northern lines they're inside. Like you could do a Detroit team. They're playing at Ford Field. That doesn't matter.
And I mean,
or Minnesota
right now is just sitting there. So.
Yeah, Minnesota, same difference. Chicago, though, I'm surprised. That's going to be an outdoor team. It's going to be a little rough in January or February in Chicago.
That wind gets whipping.
That polar vortex hits you sitting out there. Woo!
Get out there and play it, boys.
Watching bad football in negative 20 degrees.
So are they going to be on NBC and the NBC Sports Network or whatever that is? NBCSN or whatever.
I imagine they're going to do like the AAF. The first week, they'll slap them on NBC.
Probably on USA, I would assume they might pinch him in there.
Yeah, USA is owned by NBC. So during Raw and all that, they'll promote the hell out of it. They'll slap a couple on there, and then it'll all go probably to the Sports Network after that. Probably do the same thing. NBC has hockey, and they barely stick them on NBC. So it's
they're
like
always on the whatever the NBC Sports Network.
Yeah, so I mean, they can't even put hockey on there, and that's a real league. So I don't know. It always amazes me too. Like you'll turn like a network station on in the off season on a weekend, and they'll have as seen on TV commercials going for half the day.
Yeah, like blue blockers.
Yeah, you can't stop the George Foreman ad to put on, slap some hockey on. I don't understand.
Yeah, but I guess that's guaranteed revenue. So you could make the argument that George Foreman Grill's got to pay to be on there. I got to sell the bad NHL team, or you know what I mean?
That is funny, though. I always find that funny when it paid programming on a major network, and yet we can't even watch like hockey or something on, or even the AAF. So there's like a little football that my wife loves.
I'll be honest with you, it's a little sketchy, folks. I think Alliance is looking a little rough.
It's going to take some ironing out. It's going to take some years.
There's like 1,500 people at that Birmingham game.
It's going to take some hot player to just catch fire and start unleashing. People will start watching. Like, if they get like one receiver that's getting a couple hundred yards a game and a couple touchdowns.
But the quarterbacks only have like 88 yards.
Yeah, the quarterbacks are terrible. That's the worst part. Oof, their quarterbacks are bad.
I haven't seen the old ball coach yet. Is that the Orlando team?
He's on right now on CBS. Yes.
I can't.
He plays like a Florida offense. Shotgun.
So at least his offense a little more upbeat. And
it was 12-8 when I left. Okay. The other team scored 2 quick touchdowns.
12-8.
Yeah, no extra points.
Yeah.
So. And then finally, Orlando's team drove down. They ran it in from the 5, and then ran in a 2-point conversion. Old Michigan running back Devin Smith or something like that. You'd recognize him when you saw him.
Okay.
Well, then again, they had to tell me. I didn't know for sure. Like old Wolverine's quarterback, like a running back. So there you go. Now, what we got here today, and I can't really show. Well, yeah, maybe we can. Now, something that we've mentioned, they had the Golden Girls Funko Pop cereal.
Yeah, so basically the Funko, the Pops are basically they're giving you a little small Funko Pop, which she's pulling out right now. It's a Pac-Man.
It is the tiniest Funko Pop you've ever seen. It's about the size of a keychain Funko Pop.
And they're basically going for that Sunday morning eating cereal, watching cartoon vibe. Now, so they pack it in with what looks like the most generic Fruit Loop.
Yeah, I don't know who made this. There's no flavor on it.
They're all in the same type of all of them have this generic O. So we actually picked these up, or Steve picked these up at a GameStop we stopped by.
Now, interesting note, they came out with the Golden Girls one, and that was $15 a box.
Why?
I have no idea. I don't know if that was their test run. Now, these are only $8. No, it was the same size.
Golden Girls was that small?
Might have been a little bigger. I don't know. I didn't get I wouldn't buy them for $15.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So we found this box for $8 with the pop, so Holly gets a new pop because you don't have enough of those. And we got some generic. Oh man, this smells like cardboard. It doesn't even smell like cereal.
That is the grossest. It doesn't smell. It has no Fruit Loop smell.
So folks, when you open it,
literally smells like cardboard.
Yeah, when you open a box of cereal and you smell the cereal, the Captain Crunch or whatever, this literally smells like the lumber section in Lowe's. It doesn't even smell like cereal.
It's just like generic cardboard with.
Yes, there's no flavoring. So I'm gonna take a couple here.
And that's the weird part too. So looking at the box, right? It doesn't denote lemon. They're yellow, but it doesn't say banana flavor.
Little yellow O's. No. They're not as bad.
No.
As
Holly and Michelle were making it crazy. They're not
your
terrible.
daughter too.
Yeah, Lauren's a drama queen.
They taste like generic yellow Fruit Loops.
They have no flavor. They're not lemon. They're not banana. They're just sweet chunks.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat a bowl of them.
I mean, that is incredibly disappointing.
Especially considering we paid $8 for that box, it is kind of disappointing. Very generic. It's like they had leftover bad O's from the Fruit Loop factory, and they just sold them to Funko to slap a couple pops in there to make a couple bucks from people. Now, this isn't the only ones. They got Rick and Morty ones. They got Power Ranger ones. They got Golden Girls, like we said. And each time, the color changes. Like the Rick and Morty ones are bright green. Golden Girls
But I bet you they taste the exact same.
Yeah,
I bet you it's just a different dye or something. These are awful.
Yeah. Golden Girls is bright blue/purple. That never made sense to me why they're that color.
Blue hairs, man. Old ladies.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's the way of looking at it. So, not a huge fan. Funko Pop cereals, thumbs down from me.
It was a huge thumb down.
Charles has already ate more than I anticipated.
The other thing that's of note, too, as Steve digs it out of his
craw. I don't know. It's stuck in my teeth.
The chick that was at GameStop yesterday is so annoying, man. These GameStop workers have got to calm down.
Oh, my God. She came over to us. We said, hey, look at that Rick and Morty cereal. And she did. She went into an SNL skit of Rick and Morty for 5 minutes. I was like, what is happening right now? It's one of those deals where the girls actually, I mean, she's probably a very nice person, don't get us wrong.
listening to the podcast.
We were the only 3 people in there, and she just came up and like told us her life story about her mice that eat this cereal. And I know more about the girl that works at GameStop than some family members after only knowing her for 10 minutes.
So like okay.
Classic overshare, I guess she is.
Yeah, she was trying and wanted you to pre-order everything.
Yeah, I wanted to pre-order, yeah.
If you're into Pac-Man, to have a box of Pac-Man, but like, didn't Pac-Man have a cereal in the 80s and stuff like that?
I think he did. Same thing with Mr. T.
Yeah, like, so Mr. T's, I guess that's what they taste like. It's kind of like a bad Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they taste. They have just no flavor at all.
That's a letdown.
That is awful.
Even like no-name Myers brand cereal that comes in the bag tastes better than that cereal.
So what is that? That's like a $3 pop. Where'd you put the pop at? Oh, that's like a $3 pop and 99-cent cereal.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so
they're doubling their profits.
That is terrible.
So yes,
people will buy anything from Funko, man. I swear.
If you haven't watched it yet on Netflix, there's a documentary about Funko. Watch it so you can see how insane people are about these Funko Pop things. It makes no sense.
That is awful.
So there you go. Funko Pop cereal.
Thumbs down from me. Thumbs down from Steve.
Unless you're dying to have the collector pop inside it. But mind you, it's only about an inch tall, so it's not like a real size pop or anything.
How much is and you know because you've gone to, how much is a regular Funko Pop?
About $12.
So it's cheaper than a regular Funko Pop, but it's just
it's also a quarter of the size. Like a regular Funko is probably a little bit bigger than that. And it does have an aftertaste now that I'm tasting it.
It just tastes like sweet gross. It is. It's like a ring Captain Crunch or something like that. That is not good.
There you go.
Wow.
So now we're going to look at some reviews, and we got a lot of heavy Netflix again this week because we watched a lot of Netflix.
They're also like we're in a lull time for like regular TV too. I mean,
very big lull on movies and TV. Even movies that nothing's been coming out really. Yeah. We got Lego Movie 2 and the Dragon movie, but no one's really going to see the Dragon movie, so that's about it, really, until basically Captain Marvel's the next big at the theater, and then even on Blu-ray and stuff, not that much stuff came out. But I have to talk about it. I've talked about this show before, and I'm just bringing it up. It's Shameless is back. They took a break. I believe it's
the Showtime show.
Yes,
that has massive popularity because it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, but I watch it. The current episodes on Showtime. I have free Showtime with my cable.
A bunch of people have jumped ship at this point, too,
right?
I'm
close. I'm very close.
No, but I'm talking about as far as the actors and stuff. Didn't a couple of the kids leave?
This guy's there's one leaving, and then there's one that left, but now Gotham is over, so he's coming back.
Okay.
There was Ian is his character name. I don't know the actor's name. He played the Joker on the Gotham show for a while, and he got like almost like full-time status because he did a really good job as his Joker thing. It wasn't his Joker, but not Joker. Gotham's a whole other story.
Yeah.
It's a weird show.
I don't like that show.
I watched the first season. That's about it. But he got real popular on that, so he left Shameless because that was network TV, probably a bigger paycheck.
Yeah.
Well, now Gotham's wrapping up after this season.
Oh, it's done.
It's done.
Huh.
So
I thought that was a really popular show.
It is, but they wanted only 5 seasons or 6 seasons or something like that. So Shameless is still going, and I think they got extended for 2 or 3 more years, which
because it's so popular on Netflix.
Yeah. So now he come crawling back, and his thing was, well, we didn't really have a direction for my character Ian, and now they do, so I want to come back to the show. Instead of just saying the truth, Gotham's over and I need a paycheck.
They're cutting the money tree down in his backyard.
Yeah. Fox cut me off, so he's coming back next season. This is, I believe, season 9. Don't quote me on that.
I think the show's horribly overrated. I think all you people that you guys are just into seeing random boobs and stuff like that.
Well,
and stupid over the top stuff with it.
Yeah,
it's too much, man. That show is just.
I think I've met my limit after about season 5. I think I was done, but I kept you keep watching. The Fiona character, who was always supposed to be the staple of the grounded one, now she's falling off the bandwagon and drinking booze all day long and torturing her ex-boyfriend or whatever. It's just so bad this season, and I'm after this season, I feel I'm done. I know Michelle won't because she feels like she's dedicated for some reason. But
she owes it. She's owed
even when it came back, we had 4 episodes on the DVR before I watched the first 2. I was like, I just did it for Michelle. I was like, I really don't want to watch this. It's not that good.
So you
subscribe
to Showtime?
With our AT&T package, for some reason, they gave us Showtime and Stars for free.
Oh, okay.
And we've just had it forever. They just never. It's not like we asked for it. They just gave it to us. So it kind of worked out because Michelle got to watch her Outlander and that counterpart show, which got canceled also.
What is Counterparts? I don't know.
It's got J.K. Simmons in it. It's an interdimensional thing. There's 2 J.K. Simmons running around, and I've never watched it. Michelle watched it. It's kind of time travel.
J.K. Simmons is cool.
Interdimensional time travel mystery kind of thing. It canceled it anyway, so it only got 2 seasons and it's done. But Shameless, it's hard to keep watching.
What's the other big one on there? Homeland? Is Homeland a Showtime show?
I believe so.
Yeah, that was a huge one. And then there's that new one with
Homeland was good the first 2 seasons. Okay. Then they killed the redheaded guy. And
now the redheaded guy's on a show with Paul Giamatti on there, correct?
Billionaire. That's actually a decent show.
Yeah,
Michelle watched that really more than I did.
And then a lot of people like the Ray Donovan show too. Do you watch that?
Nah, I never watched it. It's got Liv Schreiber in it.
People are really into that.
Supposed to be in Boston. He's kind of like mafia, kind of loose. I haven't never watched it. The other one is American Gods. That's got my boy from Deadwood in it, so I always end up watching it. Ian McShane.
I like Ian McShane.
It's all about. It's a very unique premise, but the show is just kind of. They're all like Ian McShane is Odin. There's like different gods, and then they're all trying to get like the problem with the gods are losing. They get more power when people worship them.
Okay.
And now modern times, not a lot of people are worshiping gods. So they're losing a lot of their power, so they're trying to
They're coming down here to drum it up?
Yeah. So it's kind of a unique take. But, those are the shows on Showtime.
But back to your Shameless thing. Yeah, it's losing
season,
your heart.
They need to put it out the pasture. I really like William H. Macy on that show. And now Peggy Bundy's on it, Katie Seagal. Yeah, well, I'm going to show you over the spoilers for anyone listening. This season, he started dating Katie Seagal. She's like a middle-aged woman. She's bipolar. He likes crazy chicks. He figured it out. Yeah. He was having like, getting it up problems, but then he realized he needed a crazy chick. As soon as he got with her, he could get it up again. So that was kind of funny. And she had frozen eggs. But now, mind you, how old's Katie Seagal at this point? Almost 60, right?
Yeah, she's older.
Yeah, so she wanted him to impregnate his eggs. And of course, when they tested his sperm, they're all dead. So he had his son do it in a cup and then took it back to the doctors. And then Katie Seagal gets pregnant with 6 kids. And so they want to abort like 4 of them. And Katie Seagal, of course, like, no, I want all 6. That's how over the top it is. So a 60-year-old woman's going to have 6 kids. So, it's always this weird stuff on that show. And it's always been like that. But, I don't know. It's really losing its charm. It had some charm at first, and I think it's lost it over the years. But if it's super huge on Netflix, I mean,
so it just premiered. It's like week 1 into the new season, or
no?
2?
We're like week 4 in.
Okay.
I told you I waited a while before I started watching them, and I caught up in the first 2 weeks. I got 3 and 4 to watch this week. Oh, the other one that came back this couple weeks ago. We didn't talk about it. Is The Walking Dead's back? That's back also. That's another great one.
That's mid-season, season 9.
Yeah, but AMC says season 9, but I mean most of these seasons are only 10 episodes, so it's not like they're long seasons on these AMC compared to like 22.
Walking Dead goes like 13, 14 episodes.
Still, it's not like the 22 like network.
Oh, it doesn't go that far. No, but I'm saying a Walking Dead season is kind of long.
Yeah, and they also stretch it out long periods of it not being.
They try to avoid certain things, like they avoid NFL playoffs.
Yeah, and they try to avoid Game of Thrones probably.
They probably should, instead of avoiding stuff, actually make their show better.
Yeah,
because when it was in its height, people didn't care when it was airing; they just wanted it. And now it's terrible.
Michonne's leaving, the actress who played her.
So Rick's leaving.
Rick's gone.
Rick's gone. Michonne's leaving.
The kid who played Carl got wrote off, and that's Rick's son, Andrew Lincoln's son on that show. And the one that plays Maggie, she's leaving.
So basically, it's going to be Norman Reedus and then Carol.
Yeah, it should just rename the show Norman Reedus versus Zombies.
I mean, this is crazy.
There's the guy who plays Eugene. He's been on there quite a while. Basically, the originals are Carol and Norman Reedus.
I'm struggling. I still am trying to get through season 8. I got like 3 or 4 more episodes, and I'm caught up through season 8.
Oh man, it's hard, isn't it? Dude, that's how I am with Shameless right now. It's like I don't know if I got the motivation.
Real hard. I've never seen a show just peak. So, oof.
Yeah, and it's a struggle. It didn't get much better. And so did you? Oh, you didn't see the last episode of last season or the mid-season break? I ain't gonna. They killed the major character off too. So.
I'm on the edge of my seat over here on that
one. Yeah, there you go.
I heard they fast forwarded the daughter, so she.
Yeah, so she's like
Like Lorna's age.
Yeah. But she's walking around with the biggest hand. She's got Rick's old hand cannon.
Yeah.
And she shoots it in the beginning of the season and like no problem. It's like
okay.
that kid go flying about 5 feet back.
I don't know. That show just fell off so hard.
Yes, it did. And so that's another hate watch where it's like, but then I watch and think, well, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it's
wrestling.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So this week, like we said before, not a lot out on, some reality shows and stuff. So Charles and I are both huge stand-up comedian fans. I've gone to a lot of them. I watch a lot of them on cable and Netflix.
Netflix is a great service to have if you're into stand-up comedy.
Yeah, it really is.
It is the place to get like stand-up specials, like hour-long stand-up specials. They also do a good job of also bringing in half hours. There's a Stand-Ups of the World show that kind of is on there that's just profiling like some younger comedians and stuff like that. Netflix does a great job with their stand-up comedy.
And for the most part, I like a lot of them. There are some stinkers. Don't get us wrong.
I'm going to talk about one.
Yeah, Charles saw one
just
recently.
Came out. Yeah.
I watched one with some Arabic guy. I only made about 20 minutes in, and I turned it off. It just wasn't funny.
Hassan Minaj.
Yeah, something like that.
It was people love that guy too.
I didn't think it was that funny. I don't know. Aziz, I liked his.
Aziz Ansari is hilarious.
Yeah, I like how he does modern stuff and texting and all that.
Dude,
a lot of guys don't do that kind of stuff. So the first one up, Charles probably didn't watch it. I did. Gabriel Iglesias, one show fits all. His name is Fluffy. He does a lot of fat humor, but in this one, he more focused on family and his son.
He's been around forever.
Yeah,
Gabriel Iglesias has been a stand-up for years.
If there's one, long time. If there's one knock on the show, that would be he reminds you that he's been on the road for 20 years, quite a bit. It's like, all right, we get the point. It's one of those, he brought the two people that supported him back when he first started at some local bar. They were at his first show and showed up every week. And like he brought them there and he just stood them up. That part one, yeah. But I like the guy. He's funny. Charles not a fan of his. It wasn't all fat stuff. It was mostly
a lot of his comedy has roots of like the same things over and over again. And that's what I struggle with a Gabriel Iglesias.
Well, in this one, didn't feel like a repeat of a lot of his stuff in the past, where a lot of it has, where he talks about cakes and loving food and stuff. The funny line he had, though, is he snuck backstage to meet Chris Rock. And Chris Rock's like, oh, I know who you are. You're the king of the Mexicans. And I thought that was pretty funny. It was out of nowhere. So I liked it. Charles he's not going to watch it anyway.
Yeah,
Bill, I know, and Bill and Abby in Chicago love him. They've seen him live.
I wonder why.
Yeah. I like the guy. Charles not a big fan. I would give the stand-up probably a 7 out of 10. A little too much of the I've been on the road for 20 years and, the emo craps here and there. But overall, pretty good.
This next one we both watched.
Yeah, we both
tipped
watched.
Me off to it last week, and I checked it out.
Ray Romano, right here around the corner. Charles, what are your thoughts on Ray Romano?
I thought it was great, and so to the point, they also talked about he doesn't do a lot of stand-up and hasn't done it for years. So he did it at 2 venues in New York, like his OG spots. He went to the Comedy Cellar, and then there's another Comedy Cellar like right around the corner. He has really funny, relatable comedy.
Yes. If you're a middle-aged man and married with kids, he is relatable.
He is really funny.
He's primarily clean, little cussing here and there, but primarily clean and just really funny. Yeah, not many people. I like him better than Seinfeld.
I do too.
I've watched Seinfeld.
Seinfeld gets a little too highbrow. And I'm not a fan of
Ray Romano is much more. Ray Romano is the guy you can sit at the bar talk about sports with, which I don't feel Jerry Seinfeld is. Yeah. So I really liked it. Charles really liked it.
Big thumbs up. I thought it was a great
thumbs up from both of us.
Check that one out if you can.
8 out of 10 for me. Really good. I liked it. Maybe a 9. I don't know. Now this next one, I watched a lot of stand up. And not often do I laugh out loud by myself. But Bert Kreischer, Secret Time.
Yeah.
Hands
the funniest stand-up special you'll see on Netflix.
Oh, hands down.
He is the funniest dude.
He gave me that impression when remember when you first watched The Hangover, and if you've never seen him prior, Zach Galifianakis, when you first saw him in that Hangover. Dude, this is what that Bert Kreischer did to me.
Just a dude doing his own thing that's completely funny.
Little fat guy rips his shirt off right at the beginning of the show.
You know what the best part is, too? He does a podcast called The Bertcast that I actually got turned on to again. That podcast is hilarious. He is a funny dude, man.
Really?
His special's great. it's the way he tells the story.
Yeah, he sets
that
it
is
up.
so funny, and like his over the top. It's a great special.
If
you're gonna watch one of these, watch that one. In my opinion,
on YouTube, the Rich Eisen show. He has Bert Kreischer on. That's where he tells the story about getting hit in the head by Don Mattingly with the baseball. They're betting to see if he can hit him in the head.
Yeah.
Funny dude.
Rich Eisen's actually a really good dude, too.
Yeah, he's got some good. He had Will Ferrell on before and stuff.
Yeah, so Bert Kreischer, hilarious dude.
I'm telling
10
you.
out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I agree with Charles totally. He's got that out of nowhere, like, what the machine, and the guy's funny as hell.
Yeah, he's on tour right now, like Australia or New Zealand or something. If you can, folks, consume whatever that guy's putting out because he's a funny stand.
Yeah, that was Zach Galifianakis funny from The Hangover when I watched him. Now the next one, I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, but it was. Joe Rogan, Strange Times. Very funny. I enjoyed
Smart
it as
dude,
well.
man. And
He went some weird angles with the vegan cat.
Dude, oh my god,
it's
a cat, people. Hilarious stuff. Joe Rogan is one of those smart dudes. I've talked about on the podcast how I'm a huge fan of the Joe Rogan Experience. His stand-up, to Steve's point, lives up to it. It's great. Yeah, check that one out, too. Another top-notch of these. And again, he comes from, and I'll talk about it a little bit later when we talk about the D.L. Hughley thing. I like people that make you think a little bit. And like when like Steve was talking about with the vegan, a cat doesn't know shit about being a vegan.
It's just laying there in a coma. Oh, it was so funny. So Joe Rogan, Bert Kreischer, Ray Romano, all home runs. This next one I haven't seen. Charles
he popped up, so I watched the Ray Romano thing, and then it went into like basically like a hey, check this out, like Netflix does. It'll aggregate different things. Sebastian Maniscalco is the guy's name, and it's called Stay Hungry. And he's a real East Coast guy. He's a real Italian dude, but he's living in L.A. now. Oh, this is right up there with that Bert Kreischer stuff, man.
Oh, he struck you that funny?
It was funny as hell. Like
I have to watch it.
He's like a real curmudgeon-y guy. Like, so he just doesn't get like, he's always like, who has the time for this stuff? It's really funny stuff too. So check him out. He's got 2 specials on there, and I belly laughed at both of them. Sebastian Maniscalco, very funny dude.
I have to watch him. Now this guy's been around a long time. Had a sitcom way back in the day. I haven't seen him in a while. Obviously, I saw him on Kings of Comedy. D.L. Hughley, Contrarian.
Yeah, that was. Check this one out too. Again, another cerebral guy. He goes through a lot of like main events that are going on in the world. So I don't know how long it'll hold up for time wise. But as far as like looking at certain situations and like looking at it for the truth and not just like looking at it at race based and stuff like that, he's great too. I can't recommend that one enough. It's an hour-long special. He's drinking the whole time. He's got a guy that comes out and pours his drinks for him while he's out there and stuff. D.L. Hughley's still funny, 10 times better than anything that Steve Harvey's doing right now and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, real good guy, real good stand-up. Rather, is a real funny dude.
Now this next one's depressing because I was hoping it was good. I didn't get to it. Charles did. Tell me about Ken Jeong. You complete me, ho.
So I love Ken Jeong. I've talked about it on the podcast again. Super humble dude. But the problem is the whole time he's just talking about like how people have helped him and why he's so grateful to be where he is. And hey, I used to be a doctor. And the reason why it's You Complete Me Ho, his wife's name is Tran Ho because she's Vietnamese, and that's the whole. So he's talking. It's a lot. It's more like a thank you letter to everyone allowing him to be Ken Jeong, as we all know it.
Not that funny.
Oh my god, he is lacking in material. This is by far, and it pains me to say, it's the worst one on this list.
Would it be better if it was only a half hour long?
I don't think so because I think he's lacking so vastly in the material. Yeah, we all know you were in The Hangover. We know, Toodaloo and all that kind of stuff. We get it. And a lot of people came together to allow you to do it. But man, me and Heather both were watching this because she likes Ken Jeong from The Masked Singer and all The Hangover. This is brutal, folks. This is I'd watch Gabriel Iglesias before I'd watch this one again. This is just the worst stand-up I've seen in a long time. And again, Ken Jeong is an amazingly funny dude. He is not built for the stand-up, man. He just can't.
Either that or you should hire some good writers beforehand and really
work that material a little harder. We all know where you came from. You know what I mean? And like some of that stuff in your own personal life is extremely funny material. Ooh, this one is bad, man. Ugh. there's like other people in the crowd with the last name of Ho, and that's like a whole thing. It's like, I get it. Like, yeah, Ho. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It's like a fifth grade joke.
yeah, this one just came out too. This is the newest one on this list. Avoid it, people.
Now, I have some honorable mentions I've watched on there before. I think I've covered them on previous podcasts. Both the Dave Chappelle ones.
Yeah, those are
Kicked them in the pussy.
Yeah.
Watch those. They're hilarious.
Dave Chappelle's funny no matter what he does.
The Chris Rock one's not bad. Not great, but not bad. So the newest Chris Rock one. Not as good as his old stuff, but he's getting older and more
Kevin
mellow.
James has got a couple funny, like one funny one.
Yeah.
On there.
The problem with Kevin James, he repeats some of his stuff. But I saw him live, and then I've seen him on Netflix. So I've seen some repeated stuff by him. That's all.
Did you see the Adam Sandler specials? I haven't watched those.
I did watch the Adam Sandler one. They did a weird thing with the Adam Sandler one. He apparently did shows at like 8 different locations, and they recorded them all, and they cut and spliced them all over the place.
Okay.
He had a couple funny songs. His songs were the best part. He had a song about his keys and wallet. It's like old school funny songs, and then he dedicated one to Chris Farley.
Okay.
So that was pretty good. The show as a whole is an hour, 20 minutes, something like that. Yeah,
it's
probably.
kind of in that Ken Jeong thing. We all know the stories.
Yeah,
but like,
it was about. Now, another honorable mention, it's not on Netflix. This was on Showtime. I caught it late at night. Cat Williams had a show.
Cat Williams can be funny as hell.
Pretty funny. It was okay. But the only thing I really remember from the show, it was in Jacksonville, Florida.
He sweat like crazy.
He was just pouring.
Yeah, he always does.
I don't know what.
He's always in the South.
How is a guy
somewhere.
that tiny sweating so much?
Sweats like crazy.
It looked like he took a shower by the end of this.
Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was pretty good.
I think I've seen. Is that where he's in
much.
front of like the Oval Office kind of thing? I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on Showtime.
Like crazy.
Yeah, he went a little too political with the Trump stuff because it's been there. Everyone's done it already. But for the most part, he was pretty good.
Talking about honorable mentions, there's a handful of Bill Burr ones that are on Netflix as well.
Bill Burr's excellent.
Bill Burr's hilarious. If you can catch him. The funny part is, so if you're looking at this list, my two favorite are two people I had no expectations for. Like to me, if I'm recommending the Bert Kreischer one, I think everyone should watch that. It was just that funny. And the Sebastian Maniscalco stuff was really funny to me too.
Bert Kreischer should be in a sitcom or movie.
Man,
that guy is hilarious.
Yeah, it's
because he's not even necessarily that dirty. He's just pretty funny.
Yeah,
I mean, he had some dirty stuff, but nothing. Like, it didn't stick out to me. Like,
and it's just the way he tells those stories, man.
Yeah,
it's a good storyteller. So for you, it's Ray Romano and and Bert Kreischer. Is that what you would say?
The two funniest on this list, yeah.
Yeah, the Ray Romano one's really good.
If the Chappelle was on here, Chappelle would be up there too. I liked his. But Chappelle's always a constant. You don't really have to put him on there. It's like
whatever he's doing, just watch it.
Yeah, if Dave Chappelle's doing it, it's funny. So there you go. There's a little look at some stand-ups. Like I said, we're both huge fans. Especially when football season's over or got nothing to watch and it's a slow time for movies.
Netflix is great for this.
I hit a lot of those comedies. And Michelle watches a lot with me, too. We both love stand-up. I've actually gone to Pete's Place and watched stand-up. I like going to see stand-up. I've seen Lisa Lampanelli, Kevin James, Amy Schumer. I've seen a lot of them.
Not a fan of Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
Did you watch her leather special or whatever that one is?
Yeah, she got too political into gun control about halfway through it. I was like, really? Gun control? Really? I'm just trying to laugh. And like, she got serious. I'm like, I mean,
if you're gonna struggle with the D.L. Hughley one, then if you don't want to like get those social issues, that's a lot.
Well, the difference between being social and still being funny about it, like she stopped being funny and just lectured for about 10 minutes. Like, if you're going to do social issues and still kind of take a funny angle about it, I'm fine with it. But if you're, like, great example of that was Carlos Mencia at the end of all his shows, where he'd stop for, like, 10 minutes and try to do some deep thought. Yeah, it's like, are you kidding me? You're stealing jokes. Shut up. So
Menstila.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Now, you probably don't remember this, but way back in Pickwick, one of our first, me and you together. Yeah.
We moved when I was in the second grade.
Dad and Mom were asleep. And I don't know what grade I was, probably 5th. You were probably 2nd or 3rd. And we got free HBO that week. And the first time I've ever seen George Carlin, me and you, it was like midnight. He came on. The two of us were laughing so hard. Dad came out and yelled at both of us because he had to get up in the morning. What the hell did you do?
He's hilarious.
I'll never forget that show because that was the one where he said shiny shit because his dog was eating tinsel.
The first comedy show I saw live was him live in Vegas.
Oh, I never got to see him live. That's depressing.
And the sad part was he was gotten so old, like he forgot part of his act, and you could see him struggling to remember it. And stuff like
really?
That. Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's George Carlin, one of the greats. Dave Chappelle, probably one of the greats, going to be. I never really got into too much of Richard Pryor. It might have been a little more before my time.
You'd had to be older in the 80s, I'd say.
Eddie Murphy was great. I liked Eddie Murphy. He was funny.
One of the other ones that you guys are big fans of, I don't like, is Dice Clay. I think Dice Clay's better in like being a person now than he was for stand-up and stuff like that.
When he first hit, he was so different and crazy.
Yeah. I like Sam Kinison.
And mind you, what was I, 17, 16? Yeah. So any kind of, like, Two Live Crew is huge. So anybody came out crude like that, you're like, oh, you know. But now you look back at it and you're like, yeah, it's kind of lame jokes, fucking knock jokes or whatever they were. One of the first stand-ups I saw with Dad was an HBO special with Rodney Dangerfield. And that guy is one of the most hilarious people that ever lived. He cracked me up, too. So they got a little comedy history. I've always loved it. Charles, too. I very rarely see bad comedy. Sometimes you do, though, Ken John.
Yeah, dude.
Which is a little depressing.
So bad. It's so bad.
God. Oh, that's really
I want you to
upsetting.
watch it just so you can be like, man.
Yeah, I want to see if you can make it longer through it. So now, there was a movie me and Michelle checked out this week. Bad Times at the El Royale. At the old El Royale.
There's a whole bunch of people in this, right?
John Hamm's in it. Jeff Bridges in it. Chris Hemsworth is in it. Dakota Johnson is in it. And that's about it. Everybody else you're not going to know.
It's a quirky movie, right?
It felt like the director was trying to make his Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
So
disjointed stories all over the place?
Yeah, and they time jumped a little bit.
Okay.
So there's four guests at this hotel. It's a quirky hotel. So it's the middle of the Nevada-California state line goes right down the middle of the hotel. So you can stay in California or you can stay in Nevada. Mm-hmm. And California is $1 more. That's all they really say. I think it's supposed to be 60s or early 70s is the timeline. And one's Dakota Johnson is a room. Jeff Bridges has a room. There's a African-American lady who's a singer. She has a room. And then John Hamm has a room, and he wants so each one has an individual story. And John Hamm's like a CIA agent, and he's pulling all these bugs out of the walls and stuff that's in this room. Mm-hmm. And then there's this quirky Miles kid who runs the whole hotel by himself, and he's like a heroin addict. And then basically they all have separate stories, and they all end up intertwining by the end.
Okay.
And the real twist of it was Chris Hemsworth's character. He's like a cult leader. He doesn't have a room, but Dakota Johnson and her sister, like, they're trying to escape from him. Okay. So he kind of shows up. He's like the bad guy in the movie. Okay. That was really the only highlight of this movie. I like Jeff Bridges and everything he's in. And he plays like an old bank robber that's losing. He's got Alzheimer's.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool, and he's kind of good-hearted at the same time. He's like a good-hearted crook. So like I said, it's a mayhem ensues. It's about 2 hours and 20 minutes. All the stories intertwine, and then in the end, some of them get away, and a lot of them die. So it felt like this was the director was trying for a Pulp Fiction of his own. Fell a little short, But Chris Hemsworth with the Fu Manchu mustache and acting like a cult leader, that's kind of worth watching. But he's not near. He's only in maybe 10 minutes of the movie. So.
Did you rent this?
Rented it. Wouldn't suggest it. If it comes on cable, maybe watch it if you're bored one day and there's no sports on. I'd give it about a 6 maybe a 5 or 6 out of 10.
Is it worth the rental or is it an HBO thing?
HBO. Wait for cable.
Wow.
Yeah. I wouldn't burn the $4.
Telling, yeah.
Yeah. Right, so, but it does some things kind of unique, and like I said, Jeff Bridges is entertaining, and seeing Chris Hemsworth as a '70s cult leader, it's a change of pace. that was that much. So there you go. And it's a little bloody. It gets a little violent near the end, but other than that. Now, this next one is coming up with the Academy Awards, and I don't understand why the critics hate it, but Charles, what are your thoughts on Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yeah, so this was Steve's movie of the year last year as we kind of broke it down and talked about it each other. Mine was A Star is Born. I thought that movie was great. I hadn't seen it. Having seen both of those movies, I'm still sticking with my pick, and the reason why, I thought that Bohemian Rhapsody was great, but it definitely had pacing issues. The whole movie was a race up to the Live Aid stuff. So, like, it was a 2 hour and 10-minute movie, and they literally had a whole Live Aid performance the latter quarter of this movie. So
it's fantastic, though. They did a great job.
I'm not arguing that. But to me, and this is what I talked to you about when I texted you about it, the movie itself needed an extra half hour. He got diagnosed with AIDS, and it was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He just walks out. I'm like, did he take treatment? What did they do? They didn't. They glazed over so much stuff at this race to this crazy performance. I just thought that the movie itself, the dude that plays Freddie Mercury is amazing. Rami Malek deserves to sweep every award that he gets nominated for. I mean, unbelievably. Yeah, it was great job. I just think that the writing of it, to me, I need like an extended edition that actually, he shows up, hey, can I be your lead singer? You need one. I'll be yours. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then next second, they already have hit songs. I'm like, whoa.
Well, it did feel fast paced at first.
Dude, it's insane. It was like this race all the way up to the
that's probably the studio wanting them to keep it under X amount of hours.
Dude, you need another half hour. It really did. I also think that the Mike Myers stuff was a little distracting, and you kind of touched on it. You're like, yeah, I mean, he's kind of shoehorned in there. It was a little weird. Like, it was just like, he looked like a dude in an outfit sitting there. And
well, that's Mike Myers now. He can't be himself anymore.
He's got to be a character.
He's got to have some kind of latex over him.
I highly recommend the movie, but I as far as my favorite movie of last year, I think that, like I said, give it another half hour. It's a different conversation.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And Rami Malek should get actor, though.
Everything.
He was really good as him.
No.
Now, the big critic criticize him on it. I guess the Queen experts say the timeline's a little tweaked. Like how they did Live Aid, and he didn't actually find out he had AIDS till after Live Aid. So some of the diehard Queen fans are pissed about the storyline, the timeline.
My whole thing was like, did he seek treatment? Did he? You know what I mean? Like what?
Yeah, I'm assuming he did because he lived for a while.
Like he was at a clinic, and then they spent more time with him talking to the guy, like the kid, as he walked down the hallway.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, they touched on some of his drug use and his gain. A lot of that's another.
It was a very like a light touch. Like he was just like, oh, there was some coke on a table at one point, and that was it.
Yeah, they didn't. The critics, that's what they wanted, more into the drugs.
And that was the other thing too. The hiatus that him and his band took. We looked it up. It's like a 5-year hiatus. It was like 2 seconds in the movie. They're like, I don't know if I can remember how to play these songs. And I'm like, what? It was just 30 seconds ago. Like, what happened?
Yeah, some of the time, they need to be more precise on their timing.
Pacing issues were abound in that issue. And that's no fault of Rami Malek and stuff like that. I'm just saying, as far as, and we're going to talk about it next week, the best movie you feel of last year. I think it's a great movie. I think that it gets trumped by a handful of other movies, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that. I didn't, but the acting, I say, goes to him over anybody else. I haven't seen A Star Is Born yet, so I think it comes out this week.
You're gonna hate it. You are gonna hate it.
Maybe not. Maybe
I can't wait to see. It's super sappy. I'm telling you. Steve needs epic, and that's why Bohemian Rhapsody is epic at the end. He's playing to 100,000 people at Wembley.
That scene's great.
That's
one of my favorite scenes in movies.
And you can watch on YouTube the two shots side by side.
And they're
that
close.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But then in that, they actually even cut the Live Aid performance down, which was crazy.
See, well, now the backstory is Bryan Singer was the director. You know that. And he got fired at the end of it before so he didn't do any of the editing, any of the pacing stuff that you're talking about. Someone else did. Came in and did. He got fired because of the diddling voice.
Give me the Singer cut. I don't know what it is, Steve, but all I'm saying is they literally went from he's a bucktooth packy kid that they were all attacking to like having some of the biggest hits in 10 seconds of movie.
It went pretty quick.
I was like, whoa, they didn't struggle at all. I mean, there was no starving artist, period.
The only thing they struggled with is getting Bohemian Rhapsody played with Mike Myers.
But then they played another one that was a hit. Yeah, I don't know, man. That was my only gripe is and it's weird, and I told Steve this in a text. It was one of those rare movies that I wanted more. I'm like, dude, I need some exposition here. We looked up, he left all of his stuff not to the dude, but to the chick. I didn't know he was married. Like that was complex, and they were just like, yeah, he's into dudes now. And then he was mad that she was pregnant. Like they didn't go into that. Like
I'm just glad they didn't go too far into the drugs and sex. I really didn't.
No, but I'm not even talking about that. But what was he doing for treatment? Because like a lot of these rock stars have so much money, they do these weird holistic things. Did he take true? You don't know.
He lived with the guy, and he had some cats.
So
what else did
crazy.
you need to know?
It went so fast. It was like I said, it was a run up to Live Aid, and that stuff, amazing. And Rami Malek, all the way down to tweaking the little monitor thing when he sat down, is in. I'm like, this is crazy. I mean, someone with the fine tooth comb.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. Amazing stuff. Amazing acting. But man, there's got to be more info in a can somewhere that I can watch.
You want the director's cut on that one?
Yeah, I need the extended edition.
Like I said,
Bohemian
they fired Brian Singer, and he didn't handle any of the editing. And then I feel like a lot of the fast pacing stuff was studio enhanced. Like, let's get it moving.
But the thing is, modern audiences can sit through a 2.5 hour long movie.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
but I'm just telling you that's my gut feeling on it. That the editing process with the director being fired.
I don't think you would have been mad if it was 2 hours of here's Freddie Mercury, a life, and then a half-hour Live Aid replication at the end. You know what I mean? Like, instead, you got an hour and 20 minutes. Here's Freddie Mercury, a life, and then I'm like, what? Dude, we got so much more to cover here. Hold on.
But I mean, the movie was way better than I anticipated it to be.
And again,
it makes me want to see.
It's kind of like what's going to be with your Kingdom Hearts review here in a little bit. You're not down on it completely, you know what I mean? But like you're like, dude, here's issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there you go. Look, Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, would you say for people to rent it or just watch it on cable?
I would definitely say to rent it. Yeah, it's definitely worth a rental. And you don't realize just how many hits Queen has. Yeah. Oh my god!
And you recognize them all when they play.
Yeah, complete. I also didn't know that David Bowie song was him and Queen. What is it? The
Under Pressure?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah.
The one of Vanilla Ice stole later on.
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice. Mine sounds a little different. Mine's like ting.
Yeah. Thieving ass.
Yeah, it's a straight stole. All right. So there we go. Little looks at some stuff we got to dig up next week. For our movies and reviews, we're going to look at the Academy Awards and go through our picks.
Yeah, we're going to do just like college football. We're going to go from college football picks to Academy Award picks.
And we'll see how close we are the week after.
We are the most versatile human beings on the planet.
Yes. Our feminine sides will stick out for the Academy Awards. I'm not voting on dresses, though. All right, so we got some rap.
Before you go into rapid fire, I dare you to go home this week and watch that Roma movie on Netflix. I dare you.
Why?
Steve, I couldn't get through more than 10 minutes of it. I couldn't. I could
barely get to the title.
That movie's going to come up immensely in this Academy Award stuff. Holy hell, Steve.
You tried watching it?
I tried my best. I couldn't do it.
Is it in English?
No. It is very foreign.
I tried watching Gundam, and it was all straight Japanese. I was like, I'm out. I can't.
That Roma movie, and then it moves real. It's one of these movies like where we're layering
it's in black and white, too, right?
Oh, Steve, I dare you.
I don't think I can do it.
It is on Netflix. Kudos to anyone who got through that. Oh, my God.
It's going to win every award, a ton of awards. Golden Globes loved it.
Oh, Steve, go home. Watch it. I dare you.
I'll try.
If you come back and trust it's the most amazing movie, I'm like, this is crazy. I can't get through it.
First off, you already said I got to read the movie, so I'm already out. All right, so let's go some rapid fire. Not a lot of releases. We're wrapping up February, so it was a struggle to find what I found.
There's a couple Blu-rays I'm looking at.
Yeah. So on Blu-ray this week, Nobody's Fool, Tiffany Haddish again. She's the female Kevin Hart. She's all over the place.
She had a release like last week.
Yeah, this movie actually, if you remember, was on Rapid Fire as a movie back in, I think, October or November. So it didn't last very long.
Oh, my God.
Now it's on Blu-ray. I'm a no, Charles.
I'm a what at this point?
Yeah.
Like, I thought, didn't she just have night school?
Yes, she's all over the place.
Wow, she is the female Kevin Hart.
Yeah, she'll take any script. Just give it to her. This one was the guy from Kingsman. Sorry, I can't talk. Robin Hood with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
I will watch it. I'm a yes, Charles.
I'm a definite yes on this one.
I
actually contemplated theater for this one.
This is a gut feeling it's going to be terrible.
The thing you don't realize is there's all the archery that takes place in that movie is all real.
Why do you know this?
I went down a whole rabbit hole. Dude, I'm sorry.
Why do you even know that?
There's a crazy guy on the internet where you can watch the videos of him training him and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
It looks neat. I'm sorry.
I hope they don't end it with a cliffhanger thinking they had a franchise because it tanked.
You're a one and done on that one, son.
Next one, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, Rocket Raccoon himself. A Star is Born. Curiosity's got the best of me, so I will watch it probably this Tuesday when it comes out.
And it's my best picture of 2018, so yeah.
Which is a remake of a 1970s movie, so they're not going to give the award to him.
Yeah, amazing movie, though.
This next one is by J.J. Abrams. It was that weird World War II/zombie movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Curiosity got me on this one. I will see this one.
Yeah, I'm yes on this one, too.
I know Michelle and Holly will not watch it with me.
I need a review of this one next week. Because, yeah, I'm into it.
I have some movies to take back, so I'll have to.
You got Roma and Overlord.
I can't make it through Roma. I'm telling you right now. So that's for Blu-ray this week. So head to your local Family Video and rent those. Or independent mom and pop shop because there's no more blockbusters.
Out of that, like I said, I'm 3 out of the 4 on those on the rentals.
Oh, you just hating on Tiffany Haddish?
I'm not HBO, maybe even TNT.
TNT, probably TNT. Yeah. Now at the theaters, a Medea family funeral. This is another Tyler Perry joint. They make $1 million of these damn movies. The guy's got to be a billionaire by now. And I haven't seen the one, and I'm not going to see this one. No, thank you.
I much prefer Martin Lawrence dressed up like a woman.
Yes,
Big Mama's house. I'm a no. Medea and all that. Yeah. I don't get it.
I mean,
you said, he makes a mint off of these things. Like,
I struggled finding movies coming out this week. The Dragon one we already covered last week. So this is total.
Damal?
It's a Bollywood movie from India coming.
What is with you in Bollywood movies?
I look up the list. No, I'm not going to watch it.
I'm a what? I don't even know what that is.
And this next one is an independent. It was about a young kid trying to make his way through high school in athletics. Run the race.
Is it like
it's a drama, super, kind of thing. I don't know. It looks terrible. It's called Run the Race. No for me.
I'm a what? I don't know what it is. Yeah.
See, we're struggling. End of the month in February is not an easy place to be.
Now you know why we're watching Netflix comedy special.
Yes. Now, this next one, I've watched this show on USA, actually. I guess I'm old school. Archer, Danger Island, the complete season 9. I only put this on here because I always wanted to hear people's opinions on the show.
I actually watched the first 2 seasons of Archer.
Yeah, and then you're about done, right?
It is awful.
Yeah, it's
watch Bob's Burgers, which is where he's 10 times better.
Yeah, I couldn't make my way through it. So no from me.
And again, I'm not an Archer fan. I'm a no.
Yeah, some people do love it though. It has a strong following.
I have questions about this next one. So it is all over Netflix. Do you know about this? So this
I know a little bit.
Not Umbrella Academy.
Right.
Is it a comic book thing?
Yes, it's a comic book.
I knew it.
Image Comics, I believe.
Okay.
That's Netflix's next Mark Millar and Image Comics.
It's up front. It's pushing. Man.
Oh, yeah. Well, they don't have Marvel anymore or DC.
I know we're in rapid fire, but give me 30 seconds on it. What's
30 seconds of it. All the people in the Umbrella Academy used to be superheroes back in the day, and they were good at it. But then they all became kind of deadbeats and lazy. And now they all have to get back together to help save the world.
So it's it was like a misfit X-Men? Is that what we're dealing with?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I know there's a talking ape in it. That's all I know.
Yeah,
I don't know any of the powers of. There's about 6 of them. It looks like they look young, like X-Men-ish type. It's got the one guy from Black Sails in it that played Billy. I don't know if you ever watched it. I'm gonna watch it.
You were a big fan of Black Sails.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you liked it a lot.
Well, once you make it past the first season. First season was tough.
Okay.
After that, 2, 3, and 4 were really good because then they upped the budget and it got better. The Umbrella Academy, all over Netflix. There's no way you can miss it. The next one,
what are you on? That?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
And I'm a maybe. I don't know.
It's comic book based, so I'm gonna watch it. I usually start off comic book based, and if it's really good, I stick with it. If it's terrible, I just walk away. Usually, what happens there. The Flying Bird. This is about a sports agent trying to get a guy signed in the NBA.
Yeah, I saw this number, but the NBA's on strike.
Something along that. I don't know too many details. It looked
complex because Heather looked at it and goes, "This is you." I'm like, okay, I don't know. If it's got like a Baldur's vibe to it, I'm kind of interested.
I'm not interested. I'm a no.
Oh, man. I'm a maybe. Again, I don't know. I might.
I know they've been pimping it.
Front and center with that boy, too.
Yeah.
It's Umbrella Academy, and that boop, boop, boop. And then Ken Jeong was in the middle.
Yeah, which I know to stay away from. Now, this next one is just funny because it's a season. It's not a movie. Lorena, season 1. This is about Lorena Bobbitt, and they made a whole series out of it.
It's got a big. It's kind of got some groundswell behind it too. Like people are kind of talking about this. Everyone's well aware of John Wayne Bobbitt and all this guy. I don't know much. I'm not intrigued.
I know she cut his wiener off, but
how do we get a season out of it?
That's what I was saying. I was like, if it was a movie, maybe. I'm a no on that, Charles.
I don't have Amazon, but I think I'd be a no with Steve. I don't get off into the first 48 stuff and that stuff too much. I don't.
First 48.
Well, just murder mysteries and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold. It's not that like the death of Gianni Versace and all that. Like, yeah.
So there you go. There is our rapid fire. Not a lot. It's February. It's slow. March, you'll hit Captain Marvel and a couple other movies. So we'll
now,
pick
when
it up
does
a
the
little bit.
Shazam come out? Shazam?
April, beginning of April.
Okay,
that looks really good.
Yeah, that one looks great.
Yeah.
I'm not a comic book guy. That looks great.
It looks funny. It looks lighthearted, which is what I always like.
Zachary Levi.
Sometimes, I mean, I like my serious Batman here and there, but sometimes you just got, you got to let it up a little bit. I mean, in all honesty, we're in tights flying around. Let's,
This is where Steve talks about his love of Deadpool.
Yeah, well, Deadpool is great. I'm not gonna lie, and because it's adult humor and not just slapstick kid humor, like Shazam's probably gonna be. But there's nothing wrong with that. I like both of them. So there you go.
Let me ask a question before you get off into the. Am I the only one that's kind of annoyed with the whole Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman like pseudo feud thing? Like,
I just heard about it last week, and I was like,
"It's just annoying." Like we're
a fake
beefing
feud
over Instagram. It's like Jimmy Kimmel and Matt Damon kind of thing. I'm just not into it, and people are like, "Oh, it's." I'm like,
"It's so funny."
What am I missing here? Like, how is this hilarious? I don't.
They're both. He's promoting his liquor, and the other guy's promoting his coffee. That's all I know.
I don't know.
And I guess Hugh Jackman's coffee helps people build houses or some shit. I don't know what that. Every cup you buy somehow.
I'm sure they're both great
guys. It goes to
guys
Bolivia and builds a hut. I don't know.
Great guys in real life. I'm just not into it. Yeah. I'm just not.
Let's be honest. Now that Hugh Jackman's not Wolverine anymore, he's going to disappear anyways because nobody cares.
Well, people love that
until he signs
showman
up,
thing.
Until he signs up to be James Bond, nobody's going to care about him again. Unless you got them claws and you're growling at the screen, no one gives a shit. And especially because how much you love singing, pal. Just go away. Just go away. Wow. I mean, be honest. I mean, what is this movies outside of X-Men? I mean, the Steel, whatever, the fighting robots.
I don't have much.
It was all terrible. And then the shitload of musicals. All right. So there you go. Now we're going to go back to my favorite part of the set.
Strap in, folks.
Strap in. It won't be too long because we're going to look a little bit at the Elimination Chamber from WWE.
So wait, this is Steve's 3 minutes of wrestling.
3 minutes of wrestling.
Yeah, we're just going straight in. We don't put a timer anymore because you can't contain this, folks.
Yeah, it's unleashed. Big pay-per-view right after the podcast. I'm going to go home and watch it and post the podcast. That's what I'll do the rest of the night. Elimination Chamber. It's the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania. WrestleMania is probably first week of April. And this one is end of February, so March will probably not have any pay-per-views.
Is this one of these like smaller pay-per-views?
Yeah. It's it's a giant steel cage with 5 pods in it, and each wrestler gets in a pod. And then every couple minutes, a wrestler comes out and fights the wrestler that's in the ring. And
how does one win?
You pin or submit them. And so if there's 6 people, the last person standing wins. So at any time you can get almost up to 6 people, and it never happens. But you can get about 6 guys in the ring at one time, or girls. Girls are in it this year. It's been the same for a while. The only title that's actually on the line is the SmackDown title. Brian,
so stupid. The SmackDown title.
I know. Well, it's the heavyweight championship. The Raw one is the Universal Championship. So there's 2 different. The one Lesnar has, and he never did
into this. This shit didn't exist in the '80s and even in the '90s.
I know. What do you want me to do when you got 500 wrestlers and don't know what to do with them? So he's going to defend the title. He'll probably win because they'll probably want him to wrestle somebody at WrestleMania, or AJ Styles will win, and those 2 will wrestle again at WrestleMania because you haven't seen that 722 times. The other one is the women's tag belts. This is brand new. There's never been a women's tag championship.
Okay.
So they're going to put
they've got enough chicks on the rosters now.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to get this going.
Well, so the tag champs are going to defend the belts on Raw and SmackDown. They don't just defend it on Raw. Because they don't have enough girls to just put them on one.
There's too many boys is what we're dealing with.
So they're going to put a team of each in the pods, and every couple minutes a new team comes out, and they fight each other. And then the winner gets the tag belts. So there's that. And Ronda Rousey will be defending against Ruby Riott. This is a filler match. There's no way Ronda Rousey's losing before WrestleMania. They're trying to put her on.
So we need a main event, main card kind of thing.
Yeah, well, and they can't justify not putting Ronda Rousey on the pay-per-view because people are there to see her.
Okay.
So we got give her this girl for.
So Ruby Riott isn't the chick who got hurt.
No.
Who's the girl that you talked about?
That's Becky Lynch.
That's who we're going. That's who we're pushing up to at the end.
Yeah, then they've already started a Steve Austin type storyline. Yeah. They fired Becky Lynch last week and replaced her with Charlotte Flair for the main event. So Becky Lynch is going to show up with a ticket or what? It's Stone Cold 101 is what it's going to be from now until WrestleMania, and that's about it. What you got to look at. It's going to be okay. Bill, I was talking to Bill today. It starts at 7, doesn't go over to 11.
Let me ask the question, though.
4 hours.
If you don't have the WWE Network, when was Royal Rumble?
January.
Was it January?
Yeah. Beginning of January almost.
No way.
It was in January.
It's been less than a month since you've discussed a pay-per-view. It's got to be.
It was mid-January then.
But I'm saying, every month they got a pay-per-view now?
But they won't have one in March, unless WrestleMania is the last week of March. I'm not sure.
Oh, man.
Yeah, They do a lot of pay. There's at least 12 to 13 pay-per-views.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
And then when they go to Saudi Arabia, that's 2 extra ones. So it's almost 14.
Jeez.
Yeah, they pump out the pay-per-views.
You got to have the WWE Network if you're a fan.
Or you go
can't
broke.
Buy this stuff.
No, you go broke.
That's crazy.
But that's it. Elimination change. There's no real news. Wait, I take that back. We didn't go last night to Clash Wrestling, but
we screwed up the door time.
Tyler Elkins won the heavyweight championship last night.
Oh, we missed it.
We did miss it.
Shit.
Sorry, Tyler, we weren't there.
Yeah, we apologize.
Yeah, we goofed up. I was going to buy the pre-sale tickets, totally forgot. We thought we thought it started at 7. It started at 6. It wasn't our fault.
I feel like it was an earlier door than before.
Yeah, it usually didn't start till 7, but
yeah. Congratulations, Tyler.
Tyler, the caveman.
Guest of the show.
/ Elk, not sure what his name is.
Securing his hardware in his league. Yeah. Ready to go.
Heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so that was the big local independent wrestling news last night. No AEW news, no anything else news.
No, we're still hoping that might be something good.
Yeah. So now, after the 3 minutes of wrestling, we're going to go to 147 seconds of MMA.
Yeah, just 147 seconds. I was joking with
Not
Steve.
146.
I
not
just
148.
Thing. So there's a big event tonight. So Cain Velasquez is making his big return after 31 months off.
Now, is this the same guy that owned Lesnar at that one time?
Big boy. Yeah.
He beat
These
the
are
shit out of
heavyweights.
Lesnar.
Yes. But he actually ended up sustaining a back injury, and the Athletic Commission wouldn't actually allow him to license to fight. So because he disclosed that back injury to the Athletic Commission, they sat him. So then he actually attended to the back injury, and he was out for 31 months. So he's making his return against Francis Ngannou. This is going to be a good fight. This is on ESPN. I was telling Steve, I thought it was yesterday, but it's actually today. I had the wrong days when I spoke with you earlier. But check that out on ESPN. Prelim fights start at 7 o'clock tonight. All free, all on regular ESPN because, like Steve and I talked about before, they're pushing that UFC ESPN marriage really high. And this one's not even on the plus. This is on regular, straight up ESPN. This is a great deal. You know what I mean?
So 8 o'clock, I could turn on ESPN and watch this.
Correct. This is all ESPN stuff tonight. It's a really good deal. So, and then the other thing I wanted to talk about too, US 234, the one I talked about before, where they had to pull out because a boy got got an injury and a hernia and all this kind of stuff. These pay-per-views are crazy. Like, I mean, what do you do when someone at the last minute, he was in Australia and got a hernia? Like, so then they scrambled and they moved the Adesanya, the Israel Adesanya, Anderson Silva fight got moved to the main card. Now, this Adesanya guy is like 16-0. He's like this Nigerian by way of New Zealand. So the UFC is looking to push this guy. Oh. So the next thing they're going to do is they're actually going to have a UFC event in Africa, in Nigeria, is what they're trying to push for. I'm thinking like some old school like Ali type stuff, like Boumaye type stuff. You know they're really going to try to push for that. I thought that's not, what is that, Zaire or whatever, where they fought back in the day. But nonetheless, they got pushed. Anderson Silva came back. That was the thing we talked about last week after a bunch of years after blowing his leg out and snapping his leg like a twig and all that kind of stuff. So that I just wanted to bring that up. That's the big push right now. Israel Adesanya, it's like Adesanya is his name. He's 16-0. middleweight. They're going to be pushing him for days. The other thing of note, and I talk about it all the time on the show, we still got bare knuckle fighting championship news. A guy named Artem.
Wait, they're still in business?
Yes. How dare you?
Oh, that's a good bet. Who goes out first, AAF or bare knuckle fighting?
My money is on AAF will stay up around before bare knuckle because I still think the NFL's in bed with them. I really do.
Yeah. It's going to be the WNBA for the NFL.
So Steve will never recognize this name, but if I explain to him who he is. So they signed Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, signed a guy named Artem Lobov. He's the training partner and the corner man of Conor McGregor. So that's why this is a big deal. So we all know Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather in traditional boxing, gloved boxing. Now Artem, he had kind of a mixed career in UFC. I believe, and I wrote it down, he was like 2-5 in his 3 years he was with the UFC, but he was attached to Conor McGregor, so people always just put him in there. You know what I mean? You got to put Artem in there and all this kind of stuff. He was also on The Ultimate Fighter the season that Conor coached that year. So Conor's a big loyalty guy, and he's always pushing this guy, So this, to me, is going to be a huge signing for the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Huge signing. So I just wanted to bring up a few things. Watch at ESPN tonight.
Oh, man. We got a league death pool. XFL, AAF, and Bare Knuckle Fighting. Which one goes out of business first?
My money is the XFL.
Oh,
in that
true.
scenario, my money's the XFL.
Ooh.
So they're also saying that Artem's going to fight April 20th, which is going to be that next Bare Knuckle. We're going to do our live stream, or hopefully do our live stream thing and all that kind of stuff. So that's my MMA stuff. But the big thing is if you're watching this on Facebook right now, people, tune in 7 o'clock ESPN. Get some really good ESPN fight night going on, or UFC fight night going on.
Oh, man, fight night. So there you go. Some more. You somehow, wait, you weaseled in bare knuckle fighting. How did you weasel in the bare knuckle?
That's a huge get.
No, bare knuckle. It ain't a huge get. First of all, who the hell names their kid Artem?
He's Russian. It's a whole
Artemis?
thing. Yeah, it's a whole thing. And if you follow Conor, you'll be well aware of who Artem Lobov is.
Oh, no, I don't follow Conor, so I don't know. So there you go. There's some UFC and some wrestling. Watch the pay-per-view on wrestling if you got the network, and then go over and flip to ESPN after around 8 o'clock and check out Cain Velasquez. When he owned Brock Lesnar, big Mexican dude,
big dude, man, big strong
beat the snot out of Lesnar. But he doesn't look ripped. He's kind of pudgy. He's not.
Just goes to show you just how crazy. That
it is kind of funny. It does. Don't judge a book by its cover. In that case, he's
you saw that
dude.
Live at my house.
Yeah,
we got that event. Yeah.
Lesnar can't take a punch. I'll tell you that much. So there you go. Some UFC, some MMA. Now we're gonna go to a harder review. We've got a couple of them for you.
Yeah.
Now, how many out there likes Disney? Billions of you. I know that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Now, how many of you like Final Fantasy and Japanese anime? About 10 of you.
Yeah, it's tough.
The game Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. I played through it. There's some history behind this game. I know Steve Linman, if you're listening, you love these games. You also live at Disney. I don't know what the hell. You're a little over the top with the Disney, even more than my wife. It's kind of crazy. Beautiful game, like Charles saw a little bit of.
I made a point to stop by your house to check it out. The visuals on this game are incredible.
Now, the backstory on Kingdom Hearts, it started on the PS2 about 15, 20 years ago. God, I'm old. And at the time, you were a little character, and you had Donald and Goofy as your sidekick, and all the Disney movies were separate worlds. So you had like Hercules, you had Little Mermaid, you had blah, blah, blah. And what your job was, you go to each world, you defeat the villains, and then at the end, you defeat one main villain.
And there was a loose anime story kind of tying it all together.
Yeah, and they're called the Heartless. The main villain at the end of the first one was Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. She turned into a giant dragon, and you fought her. Flash forward 15, 20 years, the story has gotten way more complex.
Well, hold on now. There's been how many releases since then, too?
So then on the PS3, Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. Now on the PS Vita, there was Kingdom Hearts 2.5, and then there was another Kingdom Hearts with a subtitle. I don't know what it was.
Those all lead canon to this 3 that you just picked up.
Yes, so I got 3. Now, instead of keeping to that basic story that I enjoyed 15, 20 years ago, it's this long, convoluted, role-playing Japanese anime story now. And it's all these different characters.
Did you fight another Disney character at the end of 3? Because it looked like you were fighting Final Fantasy type guys at the end of this.
The thing with Kingdom Hearts 3, the last 4 to 5 hours, all the Disney stuff disappears.
Oh.
You still have Goofy and Donald as your sidekick and Mickey somewhere around there, but it goes straight thick into Final Fantasy type stuff. Well, and they're not even from Final Fantasy. These are made up original characters, but they're
for this series.
Very Final Fantasy based looking characters with this big spiky hair and the big eyes and stuff like that.
Again, I can't say enough, people. It looked beautiful.
It looks great.
Graphics are amazing,
and like some of your special moves are actually rides from the Disney World.
The Lion King one you showed me.
Oh yeah, some of them are like a giant Simba comes out on fire and helps you, and that stuff's all cool. But now the game is at least 25 hours to 30. I skipped a lot of cutscenes, so it's probably more like 30. And what happens is these things wow you at first, but then after 72 times, it gets a little old. And if I'm 17, or not even 17, 14, 15 years old, I got the summer off from school and I'm playing that game, yeah, great. I could sit there for 30 hours. Anyone with a job or anything else, it's like, oh my God, let's go. Let's move
anywhere to be.
Yeah, if you have any kind of life outside of it, you're like, oh. And that's my problem with the game. And in the story, so you play for 5 minutes. You're whacking bad guys. You're beating them up. You're running some special moves. And then after that 5 minutes, it's 10 to 15 minutes of cutscenes. And some of them at first are cool because they're cutscenes from Disney. So you're like, oh, there's Tangled or whatever. But then eventually it just goes all Final Fantasy guys and weird backstories, and none of it makes sense. I know I've harped on anime and manga in the past. I'm sorry. 9 times out of 10 doesn't make any sense. It's all just gibberish, and it's not very well animated. Like, it looks good, but like the conversation and like kind of like laugh thing.
Well, they did. Now, one of the things that is big in this version, is this the first one where they've gone full voiceover and everything, or did the one on PS3 have full voiceover?
The PS3 had full voiceover for. I remember it. Yeah, it had voiceover.
Because I know the PS2 version didn't have full voiceover. Correct? Yeah. No. So. And again, when you showed me like the Monsters Inc. level and stuff like that, it looked really good.
And the voice actors they got sound like the characters from the movies. And then some of them are the characters from the actors, like the guy I was telling Charles who plays Shazam and Chuck. He's actually in the Tangled world. The guy who plays Ham from Cheers, he's in the actual Toy Story.
John Ratzenberger.
Yeah, so they have a handful of people from the actual movies. The two from Frozen are both in it. Kristen Bell and Nina, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Who sings
Idina Menzel or whatever.
Interesting side note, that's the only stage that puts the music in. Like, they sing their songs from the movie. No other movie has the music in it, which I don't care, but Hollywood's bummed about it because she's big on Disney music. No Moana, and no, they were missing quite a few. It's just not for me anymore.
This is like 15 years in the making? How long is this in the making?
It's 10 years since the last major release, the PS3 version.
But the Vita ones are probably, what, 5-7 years?
Yeah. So, but the Vita ones came in between. And they're allegedly part of canon. And I'm telling you, it gets bored. You get bored of it. And you're skipping to get to the end. That's my only problem. I won't be buying Kingdom Hearts 4. If you're a diehard Disney fan or a Japanese anime fan, or even a Final Fantasy fan, then this is for you. Anyone outside of that, stay away. If you just want an action game like a God of War that moves along pretty good with a good clipping, this ain't it. Now, the only knock, and Charles didn't get to see it, but you sit through hundreds and hundreds of cutscenes, and they have a problem with the circular stuff. What I mean by that is back when PS2 switched to PS3 or early PS2, some of like an ear on Mickey or a wheel on a car, you could see the jaggedness going, the aliasing and stuff. In this game, you see that in cutscenes up close. But unfortunately, the cutscenes I showed Charles, it didn't show up.
It looks beautiful.
But other than that, it looks great. A 9 out of 10 in graphics, a 5 out of 10 in gameplay. Music, see, that's the only thing too. The sound wasn't all that great either. There was only 2 Disney songs in it, and the game just wasn't for me. I was probably the wrong target audience.
So what are you overall in it?
I give it a 5 out of 10.
Wow.
And 4 out of the 5 is because of graphics.
Wow, that's a slam, folks.
I'm sorry, it's just too long, too boring, too bloated.
Wow.
And I've played 30-hour games. You know, God of War is pretty much a 30-hour game. Spider-Man's a 30-hour game. Assassin's Creed's a 30. And
They're
all
doing
of them
different things.
Yeah, you're doing different things. It feels fresh. The story feels not convoluted and retarded. It just kind of moves along.
Man, 5 out of 10.
I'm just not a fan. I won't be buying Kingdom Hearts 4.
You won't be signing up for that Crunchyroll subscription either?
Yeah, I'm canceling Crunchyroll immediately. It's Black Mass, really. I remember Kingdom Hearts being way better. And then when I played it, I'm like, oh, God.
You mean Midnight Mass?
Yeah, Midnight Mass. Sorry, Black Mass. Yeah, and in some... So it's like you're fighting the little black characters that come out. You fight the enemies. So it's like the same group of them over and over and over again, and it's like, Christ. And then after 5 minutes of that, here comes another cutscene with these Japanese characters you don't know anything about. You don't get a cutscene with Woody or something.
5 out of 10 seems harsh. I ain't gonna lie.
I know a lot of the critics.
I might give it a 6 just because of how beautiful it was. You're saying no.
I'm saying 5. If you go through that grind, though, Charles, if I loaned you that game and said you sit here till you finish it, at the 10-hour mark, you'd be calling me going, I'm insane. I can't take it. I'm telling you, the first 3 to 4 hours is fantastic. It really brings you in. You're like, oh. You're like, wait a minute, I've already done this move. I've already seen this. Oh, wait a minute. And a bunch of more gibberish about this, about the hearts and the souls. And oh my God, I got to get through this. Jesus. That's what ends up happening.
Yeah.
And even Holly, who's a diehard Disney, my daughter, if she was legally allowed to have a tattoo, might have some form of Disney tattoo. Even her, she was like, can we just fast forward these scenes? Wow. Yeah, she was getting bored with it. So there you go, 5 out of 10. It may be harsh. I may be opposite of most of the critics.
Hey, you paid your money for it. So,
yeah, they got my money, but eBay is going to get me my money back shortly, so that's fine. So anyways, there's that. So
it's getting cold in this room.
Now, what the Markey brothers do is they fall down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And what a rabbit hole means is, oh, I might want to do that. And then next thing you know, I've spent hundreds of dollars. I recently fell down the Gundam random hole of making model kits. Yeah. Now, Charles has fallen down the personal robot rabbit hole that makes no goddamn sense.
I've always wanted to live in the future. We've talked about this.
He thinks he's George Jetson.
Yeah, I want to live in the Georgia. I need Rosie somewhere around here. She hasn't shown up yet. So because of Magoo's departure, and he's no longer with us, as I've chronicled on the show, I was able to get a Roomba. I got a 985 Roomba, and BV had one and all this stuff, and I love it. It's going around. It's vacuuming up. So now I was like, well, can I take it the next step? Can I get something that'll mop my floors after one Roomba comes through? That's where this guy comes in. So this is called a iRobot Brava Jet 240. So it's not a mop. It's more akin to a wet jet. Does that make sense? So it doesn't have the same intelligence built into it that a true Roomba does. That one's only $180.
Only?
The Roomba's way more expensive. The Roomba's like $550. So
how often do you have to change this pad?
So I'm going to tell you that. So you can get 2 different versions of it. So, or you can get a couple different versions of this pad. So basically, it doesn't dock itself. It has a battery that goes onto a dock and that you plug into the back. So it's more of like, hey, I'm going to go wet jet the office. So I put it in the doorway. It sets up, I have these things called virtual walls that stop it from you set up a virtual wall at the doorway so it knows, hey, look, do it. And it just kind of goes back and forth. It sprays a little bit of water. The pads that they come with have the cleaner built into them. So as the water mixes with that, the cleaners then disperse throughout the floor. Mm-hmm. These pads get gross, just putzing around this little house or whatever like that. So it's pretty cool. So all I'm doing is just basically moving it from room to room, and then the pads, you just eject them. They're just like completely disposable. You can also get reusable pads that look like a microfiber type cloth. Mm-hmm. But the thing with that is they don't have the cleaner built into them. So I could clean them, but I'd have to put the cleaning into the dispenser itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's all baked in. If you smell that pad, it smells really nice. It actually has some good cleaner to it and stuff like that. Yeah, so for $8, you get 10 of these pads. So I can do basically like one mopping for about 80 cents is what I've been doing. So I take him from his battery capacity is not as high as a regular Roomba too. I maybe can get through this office and then the hallway, and then I got to put him on to charge his battery. So I can't just he's a lot less automated, if you will, than my Roomba. My Roomba's on a schedule. He comes out daily and just kind of does his thing. This guy, I got to kind of have to babysit, fill up his water reservoir, put his battery in, set him loose in the office. Pick him up. He'll work with the iRobot application, but it doesn't have the Wi-Fi built into it. All the app will use is Bluetooth. So the only way you can communicate with him is through the Bluetooth of your phone, not through the Wi-Fi. So that's kind of a departure between the regular Roomba and this Brava Jet. But so far, I'm a pretty big fan of all the iRobot stuff. It's an expensive hobby, obviously, as Steve's talking about rabbit holes to get into. But like anytime you can automate chores, that's awesome. Anytime I feel like I told you I want to live in Star Wars. I can't explain it. I always have.
I know it would cost a lot of money, but you want to make a ton of money.
Okay, well, you're getting really creepy and low voice right now. I
didn't realize it. I'm thinking as I talk. If you could take that little thing there, or even the iRoomba, and make it look like Wall-E from that fucking movie.
Oh, and just have him
just make them look like famous robots.
Samsung has released their version of an iRobot, and they have a Star Wars tie-in.
Damn it! That's what I was going with.
It doesn't look like the same, but it has like a Darth Vader logo on it. It has a Stormtrooper logo on it, and it also makes noises.
You know what they should make? You ever watch Star Wars and you see that little square one that goes...
Totally awesome, yeah.
They should make that look like that.
I need that in my life, Steve. I need that guy just zooming around my house.
Yes.
That would just be the coolest stuff.
You know how many they would sell if they slapped some kind of Disney thing or something on there?
I agree.
I know the licensing would probably cost a ton, but if you can make it look like if you had a little Wall-E walking around cleaning and vacuuming,
it's so cool.
Like if they can make a Roomba that has the Roomba function and the floor mopping function, and just make him yay tall. So like they made the Wall-E, he'd be taller, right? So you could have a soap and water reservoir in the back of him. Mm-hmm. And make it look, oh man, you'd sell 1 billion of those things.
I think you would too, but the problem is battery capacity and all that. I don't pretend to be an engineer. I just enjoy the products.
Yeah.
I get your theory on it. It's fun. It's one of those things. So the next thing we're trying to find, they have a couple robots that will clean your windows that you can kind of move around your windows and stuff like that. We're going to keep going. I'm going to keep going down this whole thing of like seeing how much I can automate my chores now that I don't have any dogs to worry about the distraction of and stuff like that. So, but yeah, whatever. So anyway,
baby pug shows up.
Big fan,
Mr. Pickles.
Mr. Pickles. I love Mr. Pickles.
Yeah.
Big fan of all the iRobot stuff. This is a Brava Jet 240. I highly recommend it to couple it with your regular Roomba. I'm automating chores, people, and I love it. So I just want to talk.
Everyone at home right now thinks you're nuts, but that's just $180 to mop your floor.
Yeah, but it kind of.
I get a Swiffer for $8.
It goes with my home automation stuff. It's a whole hobby. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there you go. You can get a robot, and I say slap some kind of Disney thing on it. You'll sell 1 billion of them.
Yeah.
If you can get like a little Wall-E running around here, you could produce them fast enough. So there you go.
And a 5 out of 10 for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Like I said, if you're really see, that's the problem though. I think even kids and stuff that are really into Disney, and they start getting through that game, they're gonna be like, ugh. They're gonna realize it's not totally based on Disney, and it's gonna be like, ugh. That's all I'm saying there. But anyways. So a little bit of news this week, and of course we went back to the Netflix stuff
because this is the Netflix podcast.
Yes, pretty much.
Two guys talking about Netflix.
Netflix 24/7, especially in the off season. There's a report that CW is now, once their contract is up in I think late May with Netflix, they're pulling all their content, which would equal the Arrow, Supergirl.
Well, that's what you're
Flash.
saying is you're calling it CW. So that's basically a Warner Television.
Yeah,
channel.
Warner Brothers is pulling everything.
Warner's trying to pull all their content and bring it home
because they are going to launch an app, and that also includes Harry Potter. That includes HBO. That includes Warner has more than people realize.
Friends,
which is really hot with kids. Even though I think Netflix still has them for the full year. Then after the year, they're out. So Netflix raised prices, losing more content. Now, like Charles said before, these aren't shows that get you to sign up for Netflix. No one's signing up to see reruns of Arrow on Netflix. But there are a lot of people that's how they watch their television now. They don't even watch. They don't, like my daughter at times doesn't even realize some shows are actually on like regular TV before they make Netflix. But I mean, is Netflix in trouble? I don't know. I mean, I did buy some Disney stock, so I hope that streaming thing gets high. But
we've chronicled it again. We're the streamcast. It is two fat guys in a little podcast here.
Yes.
How many services can a household have?
Yes.
I keep asking this question because no one's going to have $140 a month just for 18 streaming services in their house.
Yeah, exactly.
And at some point, we're going to reach saturation. I'm not going to have the Disney service, the Warner service. What's that?
We probably are about to reach it.
It's. I question it. I really do. But from what I was reading, and I was kind of digging into this Warner stuff after Steve and I talked, they're tiering it. Oh. So and then I kind of described it there. So you're going to have 3 levels to how this Warner streaming system wants to work.
See, when you make it confusing, people are out.
Yeah, so it's crazy. So the first tier is a movie-focused tier. I'm assuming that's going to get you the Harry Potter stuff, all the Warner Brothers stuff. Then the second one, they're saying is going to have their original content and then some top draw movies.
What is a top draw movie? So Shazam is going to be a top draw movie. Aquaman is going to be a top draw movie. The lower tier movies are going to be like Potter from 15 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And then the top tier is going to be the whole Warner library. Now the question is, there's no talk of price. I'm assuming, I bet you, that it's going to range from 20 down to 15 down to 10 is my theory on what this is going to be.
20 with HBO, are you saying?
20 with HBO. Now, they're going to, from what I could find on the internet after you and I had the conversation, they still want to maintain the HBO Now ability. They also, Time Warner owns DirecTV, apparently. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're also still going to have, they're actually going to add to more DirecTV streaming ability somehow. I don't know how. They didn't really have those broad strokes on that, too. So they still want to have 55. If it's anything like the DirecTV Now stuff, the Warner system's not as reliable as Netflix. Netflix interface is super clean. It works flawlessly. I've chronicled on this podcast alone the kind of the growing pains that I have with DirecTV Now. And if they're using that same tech, they got a lot of work to do. I'm telling you this right now. So I don't know. And Steve's always got an eyebrow raised, convinced that Netflix end is coming. I just don't think it is. I don't know
if their end's coming, but they're going to be hurting a little more than they have been. I don't think they're going to be the king of the hill as much as they have been.
I just don't. You have to have Netflix. You ask anyone what streaming services they had, the first one they mention is Netflix. You're saying that there's going to be a time when that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, especially with Disney. That's a lot of families, man. That's a lot of Disney stuff.
There's so much Netflix original content, dude. I think you're poo-pooing.
How much kid stuff, though?
A ton of it. So I just today, I went through with Lorna and did the kids thing, and we were talking about that they've got a ton of original stuff. And then a lot of it's other, like, BBC shows stuff they slapped a Netflix original logo on. I'm not delusional to that, but there is, and I can show you after this. You'd be shocked in that kids section how much of it says a Netflix original on it.
Yeah, but how much of that is recognizable? When I can offer you, over here, I've got, what is Disney's big kid program?
Moana was on there.
I got Moana over here.
Incredibles 2 just hit.
I got Incredibles 2. I got Moana. I got Wreck-It Ralph 2. I got, Toy Story 4 on here. Netflix ain't going to have that.
But kids don't sit down in the morning time and watch.
Kids recognize brands.
They don't sit down and watch Wreck-It Ralph every day.
No, but they can also have the Wreck-It Ralph show. They can have the Moana show.
I don't know, man.
They can have whatever is on Disney XD.
Me and you are going to agree to disagree. You always have an eyebrow raised because I feel like
I don't think Netflix is going to go out of business. Don't get me wrong. Do I think
you weight it differently than I do?
Yeah, I think
their OG stuff is really solid.
I think they're up here, and everyone else is down here. But once Warner Brothers and Disney get more Disney than Warner Brothers, I think it's going to be a lot closer than it is now.
It all depends on how greedy these companies are, too.
Well, they're all super greedy.
But you're talking about, so we often, again, we chronicle it here, how Netflix will take $1 or $2 every once in a while from us. And how much do you think all that Disney and Warner Brothers? I'm telling you, this Warner stuff is reading 20, 10, and 15.
It probably will be.
Dude, there's no way.
I don't see who's signing up for it, really. The Disney, I see families.
What's your threshold on Disney? If they go above 15,
they've already came out, so they're going to be lower than Netflix. They've already said that in a press conference.
We'll see.
Netflix comes at 12. They said around 10.
We'll see.
We'll see how long that lasts. I know.
Disney's
kind of greedy. You see how much those amusement parks cost.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, they got new Star Wars animated series coming there. They got Star Wars live action coming there.
I also don't think it's going to have as much content. You're super stoked on the content, too.
Yeah,
that's
I don't
because
think
your
it's all coming
family
right away.
loves Disney. You're
I'm one of a billion. One of a billion
I'm telling
families.
you, man. I don't think it's.
How much did fucking Frozen make?
I'm not
$1 billion.
I'm not here to argue that Disney. I just don't think that Netflix is the king, and until that happens, I don't see it changing from these two. Is my point.
It's gonna take a while, but that Marvel makes how much every movie? $1 billion, and then they're gonna take all of them and stick it in one area. Ooh, that's gonna hurt Netflix.
I'm telling you, I don't see it.
And neither one of us watch originals and go, "Oh, that was such a great movie." Most of the time, it's dog shit on Netflix. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong. But I think it's going to be a lot closer.
Here, no one's going to have all three. Is the moral of the story? I'm not going to have Netflix, the Warner service, and the Disney Plus service. There's no way.
I'll just go into rotation.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Because like my HBO is kind of that way. So Johnny Oliver comes back tonight finally. A lot of these series, like, they have to have you opt in and opt out very easily. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, some of these, you should be opting out more, giving it a few months to build up content and then coming back to it.
Yeah.
We as Americans need to do that more often. Instead, we just keep them and we're like, you wait 4 months for something good. Yeah. Right now, there's really no point to having an HBO streaming service.
No.
There really isn't.
Nope.
I mean, give it 6 months, jump back in. Oh, they built up their content. Have it for a few more months and jump back out.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I do. I'm gonna start.
You have to. Yeah.
It's just gonna be like, all right.
The only one that keeps me coming back is Netflix. Netflix always has, and they're smart about just like I said. I saw the Ken Jeong thing. We talked about the Umbrella Academy. They're always kind of just they're giving you a little nuggy. You know what I mean? Like I think Netflix does it right, is my 2 cents. And maybe that's just because I am a huge fan of Netflix. I watch a lot of Netflix, as this podcast has talked about. I'm not going to argue that there's not going to be a dent from these two, but as far as changing like how Netflix looks at things, and I just don't see it.
There's a lot to be said about the brand, and you know, when people talk streaming, they say Netflix. You know, no matter what, even if they're watching Amazon Prime. I caught some Netflix last week.
Amazon Prime, to me, what are people watching?
That's nothing.
I'm saying every time I get an Amazon Prime membership, and that's one of the things I jump in, jump out of all the time because they give you a free month, and I'm like, well, let me check out what's going on Prime. Am I missing it? Like
No,
everyone loves this Miss Maisel show. I haven't watched it personally.
It's overrated.
Yeah, Steve claims it's very overrated. I don't see it with the Prime stuff. Whereas, like I said, we just talked about like 6 stand-up specials that I could easily recommend to someone on Netflix.
Yeah. It's almost like back in the day when Nintendo was ruling the world, back in the original NES days, and they just threw everything. And they had every game you ever known, where other systems didn't have half as much, but then you wonder about the quality. That's the only problem.
Prime is
or like the Nintendo Wii was a great example. It had 1 billion games, maybe 100 of them were anything. Most of them are garbage.
Most of them were just freaking $5 clearance games.
And that's how I feel about Netflix sometimes, to be honest with you. But I could be wrong. Now, the next one, it was a rumor. I don't know. I couldn't find
this.
Michelle must have heard this and it nailed it. One of
her crazies at work tell her this?
I don't know.
I couldn't find it.
I couldn't either. So I don't think it's true. Nailed It is on Netflix.
It's hugely popular.
I do enjoy that show.
They just released Nailed It Mexico.
Yeah, so I think Michelle's a little crazy on this one.
Okay, so we're reporting on a Michelle falsity.
Yeah, she's like, I heard they canceled that, and so I looked it up.
Couldn't find it anywhere.
I heard they might renew it for the 4th season. Is what I saw. So Michelle's a little wrong on this one. Nailed It. Don't worry, people. It's still out there.
Yeah, and it's still one of the best shows on Netflix. You know what I mean? Like, it's a great show.
Yeah. So don't worry about that. Lastly, I have what grinds my gears moment. Most people don't know. If they do know, I don't know. I did recently get diagnosed with diabetes type 2. That's fun for being a fat ass drinking Mountain Dew his whole life. But anyways, that's not my point. The point is, I got diagnosed back in January 28th, somewhere in there. And ever notice, especially the older you get one thing, you get diagnosed with one thing, And then you got 37 goddamn appointments after that. I know
Whenever you have any major issue, it's always.
I know they're doing their job and it's your life and everything, but they don't take consideration that you have a day job or anything else, and they just keep pumping out these appointments. I've had 7 appointments in a month.
Crazy.
It's insane. It's like stop. And some of these, like,
but a lot of it though too, to play devil's advocate for them, your body's going to go through a lot of change.
Yeah, yeah.
So they need to make sure that they didn't blow the wheels off something. You know what I mean?
Well, now here's my point to that. The diabetes, every night you got to take, every morning, every night you got to take a blood test. My fingers are numb all the time. My blood in a month's time has gone back down to where it's supposed to be. But, like, I had one phone meeting. The lady called. I told her my blood numbers. Yeah. It was fine. That's all I do when I go in there. So instead of charging me the $20 copay, just give me a call. You know, that's all. You know, everything's good. Blood sugar's good.
One of the things I hate as I get older, I hate babysitting prescriptions.
Oh,
like making sure you got tracked down so-and-so because you know you only got one refill left. That is the worst. So that's not a reason to change your health.
My prescription every month, I get, they give me the needles to stick in my finger. They give me the metformin.
You got to have prescriptions for all.
I got 3 things coming. Yeah. 2 days ago, I pick it up. Only 2 of them were ready. They gave me the 2, and then the next day I had to come back and get the needles. It's like, are you serious?
It's a lot of work, man. It's babysitting.
You know? Oh, and there's always a line at that Walmart and
Walgreens, rather.
Walgreens at Van Born and Telegraph.
Pharmacies are brutal.
Oh,
man. You get behind some people that are super confused. Why did the price go up? Oh my God!
They sit there for an hour looking up health insurance information. I'm like,
God, yeah. There's sometimes it is.
I can't take it. I can't take it.
And you know, all that being said, all this shit is me. You know, my fault, your fault.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean,
we're bitching about something that was curable by ourselves.
Yes, it's our own fault. Now I do have one question though. I'm there at the pharmacy. Now the main pharmacist has a white lab coat on. But all the rest of them, there's like 5 of them working there. It's a busy pharmacy. They make them wear all scrubs. I'm thinking all they're counting do is counting pills. Yeah, why do you need a scrubs on? I don't know. Are they taking blood? I don't think they take blood at the Walmart pharmacy.
I know this. I know my buddy, his sister is the pharmacy person for a Walmart way up north, like in Traverse City or whatever. Mm-hmm. He says she makes bank, dude. She's like, all she's doing is counting pills, but like she somehow is responsible for the individuals who work for her. So like
she became a manager?
Like no, when you're the pharmacy, like when your picture is on, like you're the pharmacy tech and like whatever. First of all, it's like how Superstore dictates it. They pay you a ton of loot, dude. Like
really?
He's like, she's got a fat house. Her and her husband are both 2 different stores, not the same Walmarts, but he's a pharmacy lead, and she's what do you call it? The pharmacist. Like, you know, he's like, they make loot, son, man. And all they do is count pills. But the big thing is, he said, is you got to watch, you know, conflicts between, because a lot of these doctors don't know how many doctors you go and see and all this kind of stuff. So there's a lot more to it as far as tracking and
and giving the wrong pill, you can kill somebody.
Yeah, there's a lot of liability attached.
They probably are worth the money.
There's also a lot of restrictions too on like making sure like inventorying stuff and like drug control stuff. And
well, I wonder what kind of hours a pharmacist works.
Dude, probably 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, son.
I don't think they work. I mean, a lot of these pharmacies are open 24 hours.
Yeah, now. But this is like the pharmacist, and then there's like usually like 2 like A and B underneath them or what, you know what I mean?
Like, calling. I could have counted pills for a living.
Dude, it just shows you how much money's in pharmaceuticals.
How much school's in pharmacy?
I don't know. I had to ask him that. But yeah, he tells me all the time. He's like, man, this is loaded, son. Like, dude.
Tell Holly, be a pharmacist, count pills.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And she loves it. But to your point, you do go, you know, and the worst part is what you're also glazing over too. You're talking about 35, 40-minute wait times at most of these doctors, too. I'm lucky enough. I work at an industry that is open 365 days a year. So I'm able to take my 2 days off for Sunday and Monday. Yeah. So all my appointments are done.
You can put it on
Whereas
Monday.
if you work a straight shift like you do,
Saturday, Sunday's impossible.
You can't. There's no such thing. So yeah, you got to take a Tuesday off, a Wednesday off. Hey, I got to go for this. I got to.
My one appointment annoying. I missed it because I went to the wrong damn. That's another thing too. My doctor has 2 buildings.
Oh.
So and there's one. It's on
Suite
Evergreen.
302. Suite 706.
Yeah, and if you pick the wrong one, it's so annoying. Yeah. So they put me off on diabetes doctor, right? And then they put me up with an appointment for my original doctor. I missed that appointment. I was like, if he wants to know how I'm doing, just look at the chart.
The thing is, they're all interconnected. So,
Yeah.
what are you of? Like, are you a St. John's? Like, what is the
Henry Ford Medical.
Henry Ford Medical. So
HAP.
So I'm part of the Beaumont system with my doctors. They can all pull up one another's info. You can on your own computer now.
Yeah.
So why am I just pull it up?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
It's tough, man.
But it's crazy.
And again, our own fault.
Yeah, my own fault. I'm not blaming anyone for my day, but it does run in the family. I know why I got it. So, anyways, there you go. Next week, we're going to try to get some Academy Award predictions. Maybe Bob will help us on that. Yeah. He won't know any of them. That'll be funny. He'll be like, what?
Steve's going to watch Roma and have a full review of Roma for next year.
Roma and A Star Is Born. I probably won't mind Star Is Born, but Roma's going to be rough. So until next week, you can catch us on fatguysalittlepodcast.com, Google Play, Apple iTunes, the usual jazz. And this is Steve and
Charles.
And we'll catch you next time.